Like a light, lighting up in the dark. You make it right, I forgot how to act. It's so classic. Every time you make me nervous and I lose my words. It's been a while since I forgot the most simple words. I feel calm when you're around, like nothing can break me. Now I know why it never worked out before. High low, it would always turn out bad, so bad. But every time we start a fight, we always stop in time. We both know how to be gentle, never cross the line. I feel calm when you're around, like nothing can break me.
Hey everybody, TV Beyond Drew here. Welcome back to the channel. And all right, you guys ready for me to call these nerds? Let's get this going. Thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out with us a little bit on this Friday, wherever you're at. So let's see, let's get this sound right. And let's call the goof troops here.
What?
Ah!
What do you guys want?
Ah!
What?
I think they're here.
Nah, I'm not doing this.
Okay, the first thing we have to do is turn me down before anybody even says it. So let's get that right. I'll turn myself way down here. Make sure you guys are
way
up.
down.
Like,
Deeper and deeper.
Yeah. Guys, full disclosure, I can't guarantee that Drew has pants on right now, but
Why would I?
Yeah, we will
You
go
have
ahead.
pants on? What a weirdo.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get through this
being
anyway.
at home wearing pants. So
All
what do
right.
you want? You want to talk about some stuff?
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Yeah, wait, hold on. I thought I was supposed to wear a skirt to this. Was that not in the memo?
Skirt
I'm in-
optional, pants unnecessary.
Oh, okay, cool. Just making sure.
What about maid outfits? Are they good?
Sure.
They're encouraged.
Sure. No, guys, let's just jump right into this. How has life been treating you? How's YouTube life? How's Planet Zoo life? What I have not chatted with you guys in quite a while.
Been
I
interesting.
don't play those games anymore.
Drew, you've dropped off the face of the earth too. Like, I don't even get to insult Drew in the mornings anymore. Like, I have to leave him alone. He's like a working dude now.
Oh,
Yeah, I go to
gross.
work at 5 o'clock in the morning now, so yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of dropped off the face of the planet because I have to wake up at 4:30, and YouTube and Planet
Understandable.
slowly but surely. I'm slowly but surely getting back into the swing of things. But even if I wasn't working, I gotta say I can feel it in the community. It's a lull right now. Everyone's bored. Like,
Dude,
I just
it
kinda
is-
feel like
Yeah, I mean, even though there's awesome stuff going on, like obviously with Lion Rider and Leaf and Basic Builder, a lot of people have some interesting projects going on. Definitely slower right now, though. Hasn't this been a slow spring? And do we contribute that to an animal-only pack that was dropped on us from a creative, sandbox point of view that usually Drew and I are kind of steeped in? Do we blame it on that, or are we all just kind of
Personally-
coming out of lockdown and we're really busy with real life things, or what is going down with the slow
Personally, no.
spring?
I'll just kick it off. I'll kick it off real quick and then let the other two get in here. But I'm gonna say no because we're right on track for everyone to be bored with Planet Zoo after a pack releases. It doesn't matter if it's one with animals only or one that's mixed up. It's usually about this time, like a month after the pack releases, that everyone's like, okay, so now what? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
at
if
least
it's animal
around
or
this
not.
time. That is true. Like around this time, but I will say Drew is right. Like with the animal pack, it didn't last a week. I don't know anyone that.
Yeah, it was quick.
Especially since like all the big content creators got their like time lapses of habitats out before even the pack dropped. They were already done with it by the time it came out. So like,
Yeah, right.
it was just kind of like, oh yeah, look, I already built a clouded leopard habitat. I already built a sun bear, and so you got a
it was
couple of those out, and then it was kind of like, okay, well, billboards. People aren't really utilizing billboards as much as I thought. I have noticed that. I think as much as people
that's-
share billboards and stuff,
And as
I was
hyped
kinda
as we
surprised
were
at this.
about that, yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, full disclosure, when they gave Drew and myself the early access to that pack, they did that stream on Tuesday, I think. Drew and I just turned our thing in on like Monday evening. Like they gave it to, we had it for like 2 weeks, but we're just like, it's just animals. Like, what are we gonna? We don't really have anything to show off. Like, I've got like, I've got the Barbarossa, weird little pig thing with horns sticking out of its head and mouth. I'm like, I don't really have anything to wow people with this that they've not already seen.
I think you made a good point, Nick, about mainly people. I knew like Eben and I think Remnant and a few others. They already had all their enclosures built for the sun bear or for whatever. So it was really just kind of, okay, cool. We have these animals, now I can just place it inside the habitat, and I'm done with the CPAC. So I didn't really think of it that way.
Yeah, well, and I think the other thing might be the theming itself, because, like, let's face it, let's just say you're someone like Delady, Rudy, whatever. Let's say you didn't even get access to the pack, right? Let's say you're Silverette. He didn't get access to the pack, but he was working on Southeast Asia since the beginning of the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's been building the kind of, I'm doing Thai and, Cambodian architecture and stuff. A bunch of people have done that. If you wanted to do that, you already used probably like the India set or East Asia set or just custom pieces. Like Haribo does like crazy stuff all the time with just rocks and whatever. So if you wanted to do that, you probably already did that by now. And so it was just kind of like, yeah, like you said, like if you wanted those animals, you probably made them as an implied habitat. 5 out of the 8 animals, and okay, we'll say 7 because one's an exhibit animal, but 5 out of the 7 animals that we got, I made alone as mods before that was even out.
Right.
So let's say you were someone who played with mods, fair chance you probably already played with those animals to an unofficial capacity before the official announcement or anything.
Right.
So it's just kind of okay, it's fine, but it is
like
what
on the
people
flips.
wanted. People did say they want more animals. But
Dude, I've gotten.
Do you think if we would have gotten scenery with it, if we would still be having the same conversation today? Like, the whole, like, okay, we're kind of, like, okay, what's next? Or if we got scenery and 8 animals or 7 animals, would we be like, oh, actually, I'm pretty content with what we have?
I don't even think that it's even that. I think they're just falling into the same trap every single time. I mean, I keep on saying this in, like, all my weekly videos, but they're not innovating. They're not doing anything different. They're just doing the same coats of paint on the same, like, model figures, and it's just always the same thing over and over again. They're not taking innovative risks.
It's
They're
like
not taking like.
Hey, that Malayan taper took them a real long time, Leaf.
Sorry.
Well, it's kind of like Drew said.
weird.
This stuff is so. It seems like it's so planned out. Like it just kind of like an assembly line at this point with what we're getting, and I just it's kind of going with the motions. I feel a little bit at this point.
Well, we definitely know that they plan some stuff because I'm sure at some point we will talk about some things that we found for.
We can talk about it.
Dude, I've gotten so many comments about your white rhino today. You've done an incredible job on that guy. Like that is.
Where's the white rhino come from? Oh, Africa. Let's talk about Africa pack. Boom, did it.
What a segue.
That was good, wasn't it?
So yes, enlighten me on your all's Africa pack theory.
Okay. So I guess we can, at this point we can talk about it. I feel like this is it's been enough time. Frontier doesn't seem to care or whatever. So I'll just kind of explain the story of what happened.
Okay.
Ooh, let me get popcorn.
So Leaf and I were on a call with, I'd say, 20 other people on the Planet Zoo modding server. And I was live streaming my process of just developing videos and stuff. And one of the videos I was working on was a tutorial on how to make new custom scenery for Planet Zoo. Common thing a lot of people are interested in.
Right.
So I'm just looking through the files as we normally do, casually just scroll through. And I finished the whole tutorial. Everything's great. So I'm going back to just tag. I was working on a green anaconda mod. So I'm like, oh, I have to tag it to be South America because that's like a thing people might look up. So I go into the tags and I find it, and then I see tag African penguin, tag fennec fox, tag white rhino. Now, my stupid brain, who is also working on all of those as separate mods at the time, right? Mm-hmm. Totally unrelated. I'm just like, oh, Leaf must have sent me the files early. That's what they are. Never, and I didn't think anything of it. Continue my work or whatever. Then I scroll and I'm like, wait a minute, Meerkat. I didn't make a Meerkat mod. And I scroll and I'm like, now that I mentioned it, Leaf didn't send me the files either. And then that's when like everyone is like, wait a minute. And we're like, I think I just found the new pack. Scroll up a little bit, dig more research. Then we find theme North Africa. There was theme Africa, but then theme North Africa. And we're like, yeah, we just found the next pack. So obviously, cat was out of the bag. It was just, and again, I wasn't intentionally data mining. I wasn't intentionally trying to spoil anything like that. Though we'll get into that in a minute, what happened afterward. But basically, we were all like caught off guard. We're like, oh my God, this is the whole pack. We've never had a leak to this extent happen where the entire pack, all 4 animals, the theme was all just out there. And like clear as day, anyone could look at it right now. If you downloaded the Cobra Tools modding file, you could just, actually you don't even need them hypothetically. You could just dig in like using SQLite or whatever, and there they are. There's the tags. And so I was just like, okay, so we just found the thing. Now, Leaf and I immediately, we used YouTuber brain. We didn't think clearly and immediately just reported on it because we're like, oh my God, we have to get this news out there. Now, before we even made videos or anything, obviously we were in a call with like 30 other people,
Right.
or 20, 30 other people. So news spread quick, people are taking screenshots, whatever, because we're all freaking out. And so before we even record, because at this point Leaf and I get out of the call or whatever, it's on Reddit, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on the forums, which the forums to this day were like, really? You went directly into the lion's den? Hey, Frontier, look what we found.
Look what we found, guys.
This.
And that was where there was like a big fallout, because obviously, like I said, Leaf and I just got the video out. A few hundred people look at it, whatever. But around, because this was about 8 o'clock at night Eastern for like a timeline, around 10 or 11 o'clock, it was on Bro Nation, and at this point, a bunch of people on Bro Nation were like, yeah, I kind of disagree with you kind of sharing this or whatever. Even if you found it accidentally, you don't want to spread it. We agreed. I was like, does everyone else feel this way? I asked Hendrix, who, he's one of the modding admins and stuff. He was like, well, if it's an accident, kind of, it's a little gray area. Anyway, Leaf and I decided to take the videos down. Next day, we figured out, we're like, okay, so the modding Discord, Jesse was like, you guys broke the rules. We have to discipline you. That was fine. But while that was happening, I sent a DM to both Tim and Jay, who no longer works at Frontier. We can probably talk about that. So I sent them, I'm like, listen, this is what we found. We made videos. It's already out there. But we made video, we took them down. We're trying to, we don't want to be locked out of the mod files or whatever.
And didn't you guys pretty much get from them like a no shits are given, like they barely even acknowledged it?
I'm starting to believe the community management doesn't actually exist at Frontier, and it's a bot that they have 5 different Twitter accounts with profile pictures on.
Animal poop.
The most automated response ever. It was, "Hi there, Nicholas. Thank you for reaching out. We appreciate you." Smiley face. Thank you for doing what you.
It wasn't a winky smiley face, was it? Was it just a smiley face?
No. It was just a smiley face.
Okay, all right.
And then it was, thank you for sharing. Unfortunately, we have nothing to officially confirm at this time. But please please note that any files that we find are not subject to be officially in the game. AKA, it's PR speak for, we have nothing to confirm at this time. So.
Yeah, please fuck your face.
Which again, everyone basically universally agrees is they don't care. They're like, yeah, it's out there.
Well, man, I will say that what pissed me off the most was how some of like your all's. I get the gravity of what happened, but I kind of feel I was pissed that night with the Bro Nation and all of the guys jumping you all when I just feel like because you all were first, you were you were the whipping boys. I feel like it was so not that big of a deal that those files were found, and the way you guys were treated for those first 12 hours. I was like, this is bullshit. I
was in agreement because I think it's because Estienne and I have been around Frontier for a while, but like we've gone through this with literally every single DLC dating back to like the first DLC for Planet Coaster. There's never been a DLC release that hasn't been leaked with Frontier. It's always been leaked because they are the worst at encrypting, whatever. They're just bad at like keeping a secret. So I think that's why like myself and Estienne were a little bit like, y'all need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, we're like, man, fuck you all. Like, don't talk to them like that. You all act like we have.
Guys or something.
Yeah, we're like, you all act like we haven't been around this shit for 6 years. This isn't the first time this has happened. And if Frontier doesn't give a shit, you all definitely shouldn't. So shut the hell up. Giving these guys shit.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to put out a silly little video. That was all.
Well, and I think Estienne kind of hit it on the head. A lot of people were upset because they didn't find it first. I'm just gonna be straight with you. Like I know a lot of people in the community. They were just upset because they weren't the first, trumpet boy to find it, and they were just being salty. I know for a fact
like
that's what it was.
That is exactly where. Because again, Leaf and I were in the wrong. We weren't thinking. We were thinking not as oh, what does this mean for the ramifications of the Planet Zoo modding community as a greater whole? We were just thinking as, we're YouTubers. If we don't cover it, Rudy's going to cover it by the morning. Beyond Drew, Drew's going to cover it in the morning. And I remember you guys were saying, like, okay, well, we'll let you guys, have your little time in the spotlight, get your videos out first. But then we're going to probably cover it as well if you guys are cool. And we're like, yeah, obviously, because word spreads regardless. It was, like I said, before we got it out there, it was there. It was, but I also was kind of like, okay, before it gets interpreted or oh, someone at Frontier leaked this, or I want to be completely upfront about, no, I was the one that found it. This is what I was doing. This is where I found it. And just so that I got
and that's what I was telling people. I'm like the dude.
You did it perfect.
Yeah, and I was telling people, I'm like, the dude was live streaming for like 30 people and they found it on accident. Like they weren't data mining or any of this, The dude, he was streaming, he was creating mods and, going through the files, and they found meerkats and North Africa scenery, and this was just by accident. Like this wasn't like a malicious...
Like I told you guys, if anything, everyone's getting wrong at the wrong people, or getting mad at the wrong people. It's like, look at Frontier. The fact that it was this easy for, no offense to you guys or your skills or anything, but, some modders to, just stumble upon this without even trying. Maybe y'all should look at Frontier and how bad they are at encrypting stuff.
That should have been encrypted if you're that they're just stumbling across meerkats and white rhinos just doing a modding tutorial. That's how this was found, on accident, doing a modding tutorial.
Yeah, and I want to, because, yeah, you guys are right about that. Obviously Frontier, if they really which, again, I think at the end of the day, they don't seem to ever care. This is, yeah, like you said, Australia got a leak, Southeast Asia, they leaked, Aquatic Pack, they leaked. So, they clearly don't, care as far as, when stuff leaks, because, especially, let's face it, we knew we're going to get rhinos, we knew we're going to get penguins, we knew we were going to, none of this was really even ever in question ever since the beginning of the game. But in this specific case, I do want to say that I understand where a lot of people were coming from concern-wise, because it wasn't really a standard leak. This isn't just oh, haha, someone said it on 4chan. This is Frontier accidentally posted an unlisted video they shouldn't have. This was, you needed modding tools to get into their technically encrypted files. They are technically encrypted, but obviously the modding tools that we have can get into them. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a different situation where well, technically this is sort of this is data mining. We had to make a thing to get into them to find them. However, it was also you've known about the tools for a year and a half now. We've had them since beta. Maybe, yeah, you should probably have known about that. What's funny though is that means this, that when we found that file, it had been in there unfound for, I don't know.
Yeah, how long do you think? A while?
About 3 weeks. Well, what was funny is one of the other modders, NDP, messaged us and he's like, oh yeah, I found those a few weeks ago. I just don't know what animals are in the game, because he doesn't play the game. He just mods for it.
He just
so
mods.
Yeah, he didn't know the animals weren't in the game yet, so he was just going along with it. He just thought they were in the game normally.
That's awesome.
Meerkats, that's cool.
Well, I'm glad that you guys got to kind of wrap or tell your side of it, because I do know that you were able to tell your side, but it was on Reddit or it was on Discord or it was on so it's nice you kind of centralize your story here and let everyone know your side of it, because I think a lot of people thought you were being malicious with it, but you're not being malicious at all.
Right,
not at all.
And we'll put this.
Malicious.
Yeah, we'll put this out there too. We totally understand Jesse's side of things, where Jesse was afraid that we knew that Frontier wouldn't give a shit, but Jesse's if Frontier really drops the hammer on this, modding for us is done. The Cobra tool is done. We are done. So
I also want to mention, in addition to that, not just from oh no, we don't get modding, because that's sort of where I know a lot of people on Bro Nation were coming from. If we don't get modding, this is the end. But for Jesse, he's I don't want to get sued, because in the there is precedent for Elite Dangerous, at least, that Inaki got sued and was in a year-long court battle with Frontier over modding Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Yikes.
like
That is so bad. Like,
so
yeah,
though,
we definitely, like, this is not putting Jesse down at all. Jesse was just trying to look out for, you know,
Exactly.
what could happen. So I know we were a little heated when we found out that they muted you guys, and, you know, you were thinking we didn't know if you were going to get kicked off the modding Discord or not. So there was a lot of emotion in that first 8 to 12 hours. But, you know, we understand where Jesse was coming from on his concern, you know.
Yeah, like I said, it was such a go. Everyone's like brains were scrambling from every angle. Cause again, immediately from Leaf and I, we're two YouTubers. We're like, oh my god, this is breaking news. Especially, Leaf and I have both been covering news like as our channels lately when we're not doing, you know, our normal modding or time lapse content. We cover the news, so it was kind of like, well, this is news if there's any, like, you know, ever. So we were like, okay.
Well, yeah, that's why we told you that, like, we were going to cover it, because, yeah, that's how I see things. You know, people can disagree with me. I don't really care. But as soon as a quote-unquote leak comes out, to me, that's news. And I'm going to cover it. So
exactly. So it was just kind of like we wanted to get out there. And that night we went to bed pretty happy. We're like, cool, we're getting Africa. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what we were like. Like, when you texted me that, I'm like, meerkats, hell yeah. How are they going to pull that off? What is this mechanic going to look like? White rhinos, awesome.
Yeah,
you know, I was like,
And
hell yeah.
I'm like, okay, that means we can do prairie dogs and mongoose, and, like, you know, you know, it just means new potential for us. So, like I said, we went to bed pretty happy. But, like, you know, middle of the night though, we're getting messages like, take down the video. This is gonna be bad. And for a while we're like, okay, well, should we not? I put a poll out there. It was kind of iffy on the result, but I'm like, if it's even remotely close, I'm taking it down. Took it down around, like I said, 11, give or take. But yeah, like, by then news was out there, and again in the morning, because I think a lot of people like to misconstrue, like, oh my god, you only, you know, said whatever preemptively or whatever. No, literally, I messaged Jay and Tim probably before they even got into office the next day, saying this is what happened last night. Because I'm sure they were probably, like, it's their job to be like, what's going on? And it's all over. So they were going to find out regardless. So once again, I'm like, I'd rather you hear straight from me instead of from a Reddit post that's saying this person online found this in whatever, and then it is like a seemingly malicious thing. Because we don't want to, like, dip into Frontier sales or mess with their, you know, release schedule or anything like that.
You know, speaking of
that, take down the mods.
Yeah, so speaking of those two, do you guys have any clue who, like, our rep is now? Like, I've got Dahlia, that's the influencer manager, who's super awesome. Like, she's a freaking rock star, dude. But as far as, like, I couldn't even name you who. I mean, maybe we've not been introduced to the new person yet, or
Tim, right?
Yeah.
But who's Tim?
Okay, so
I don't know who Tim
I
is.
can kind of explain this just from my weird tertiary interactions, like I said. So, when Shantae left, she was saying her goodbyes and whatever. And what was funny is, because everyone who, like, knows my channel knows, like, the infamous Shantae interview, because way back during, like, maybe November, Shantae was like, oh, I want to come on your channel and interview you, or for an interview. And I'm like, I'm fine with that. And I sent her the questions, whatever. Then I was ghosted well up until, you know, she quit, essentially. So then on her last day, she messages me like, hey, by the way, if you still want that interview, I highly recommend you talk to one of our community managers. And I'm like, okay, who is the lead Planet Zoo manager? Where I got two results.
Who is
Publicly that? On Bro Nation, Shantae told me that they were splitting the roles of community manager for, like, Planet Zoo didn't have one, and it was being split amongst Jay, Tim, and one other person.
Which is really stupid.
So
Drawing
no
a
longer
blank
Jay. Now it's
so
Tim and
Jay
someone else.
is gone.
But then what happened was, then I guess in my DMs, Shantae said, by the way, I recommend Tim. Tim is the new Planet Zoo lead. And I'm like, okay, so Tim is the one to go to. Again, just to be safe, I messaged Tim and Jay. Tim was the one that replied. He's like, nice to meet you, whatever. But I will say that if Tim is the lead, because Jay is gone, Shantae's gone, Bo is gone. If you're not up to date,
If Dahlia's gone, I'm done. Like, if Dahlia leaves, I have no other contacts, no branches. It's over for me.
But yeah, so Tim is the apparent, lead of community management. However, I will say, seems like a nice guy, no issue with him. He hasn't made himself publicly known at all. He never posts. He never said anything on Twitter. He hasn't introduced himself to any of the content creators. Other than, other than myself.
Why
I had to go to him.
At this point, I think it's kind of like a why should he? Because, no offense to any community manager that might listen to this, but you're just gonna leave in 3 to 6 months, so it's kind of getting to the point of why do we get to know the community managers?
I know, and
all leave.
And Lion Rider and
one of them
Leaf,
leaves.
you guys have to agree with us when we say that Frontier seems like an entry-level stepping stone for community managers. It's like it lets them get their feet wet. They learn the industry. Up until 2020, they shipped them out to little shows. They let them get show floor experience and live stream interaction.
Then they get hired by.
Then they go on to the big studio. I mean, it's like Drew said. I mean, no offense to these guys, but I don't really have a reason to get too involved with you.
Attached, yeah, exactly.
No.
It also might come down to the fact of... Oh, sorry, Leif, I don't want to cut you.
It's all good. It's all good for the community managers, which is it's really good that they get to advance their careers and stuff like that. Because I know as someone who recently tried to get into an entry level job, that first stone is easily one of the hardest ones to step on.
Yeah, right.
And it's just really good that they have that. But it's not too good for us community who they manage. But yeah,
I think it also again, knowing, because I know the industry and stuff, I, was part of it, that sort of thing. I know from a community management side, though, it probably, there's not a reason you leave just because, it's just a stepping stone, you're going to go to a bigger company. If you like the community, because I'll be completely honest, I don't think someone like Shantae or something going to Gorilla is going to be paid significantly more than she'd made at Frontier. I really if she was at a senior position at Frontier, I don't really think moving to a associate position at Gorilla.
Right. So you're thinking that wasn't a monetary decision, that was.
I mean, you get the clout, you get to brag, hey, I'm working on Horizon instead of this zoo game. If that is your cup of tea, it's kind of you'd want to work at Naughty Dog or it's Valve or the big companies.
Yeah,
Bethesda, just for bragging rights. So there's that, but I also think it could just be if you're a community manager and you're not managing a community when you're supposed to be working on it. Yeah, I could see that as kind of maybe a frustrating thing, and you're like, well, maybe I do want to interact with my community more, but, and again, this is all me theorizing, but it might be your management is trying to suppress what you are able to say and whatnot, and that could just be frustrating.
We said that before too, haven't we? That it seems like it can't be every single community manager comes in with the same idea of we're not going to say anything ever. That's the strategy.
Yeah,
never from the top.
Not to mention, and then we're going to quit. Right. And in the case of Bo and Shantae, and go work at the same company? No. My theory is they both came from a work environment they maybe didn't enjoy. Bo got out, said, hey, by the way, this is pretty great over here. And Shantae's like, well, I mean, if you can talk to someone, yeah, I could get you a call. Now, okay, I'm jumping ship.
Dude, I messaged John T and Drew that day when Bo had tweeted that they were having an open community manager position, and hundreds of people were replying to her, and I'm like, every single one of them has just wasted their breath. I mean, let's just be real. I'm like, every single one of these hundreds of people that have messaged her just wasted their time tweeting that. Did I not call that, Drew?
I know he did, and it's funny because I even posted the day that Shantae announced she's going over to Gorilla. I was like, SDN called this literally play by play of how it would go out, and that's exactly how it ended up.
Yeah. So as an example, let's say Tim did quit tomorrow, right? Just as an example. Half the people in the community don't know who he. What did I say? Half. 90% of the community does not know who Tim is. If you say, "Oh, Tim," like
I still don't.
The handful of people that do know who he is would go, "I've never had a conversation with him, so I mean, I hope I wish him well in his career, but why do I care?" What does this mean for Planet Zoo? And I think the ultimate thing to kind of take away is, if they were planning on splitting the position in general and all of them are moving in general, yeah, again, I hate to be the, oh my god, Planet Zoo is dying type thing, but it also comes down to the fact that if the company isn't putting community managers in place, it means they don't want a community for much longer.
Yeah, and after Jay left and Shantae too, to an extent, you can really see that Planet Zoo has gone into, at least the socials, has gone into that auto bot kind of thing.
Yeah,
the Mega Mondays, and let me retweet the top 5 Planet Zoo creators.
Yeah, and you could even
all in the draft.
Yeah, you could even see on the tags of the tweets they're coming from that social whatever. I forget what it's called, but it's like
is it a bot?
Yeah, it's like an automated scheduled tweet thing that they help companies like schedule tweets and like all
After
of their
Jay
tweets.
left, I noticed it. All of their tweets, because they were doing pretty good there for a little bit. They were retweeting some people, they were replying and stuff, and I think that was all Jay. It might have been Tim too.
I think it was
all
Jay
doing it. After he left, it switched right back to like their automated, like, okay, let's put Planet Zoo back into automated mode for another 2 months until the next DLC comes out. And you can just feel it. And I think that's why we started this whole thing off with, even though I'm working, I got other stuff going on. Even if I wasn't busy in the meantime, I'd be bored right now. And actually, speaking of that, I actually wouldn't be fully bored because of you guys modding. I want to talk about your accomplishments in modding because there's some really cool stuff
we haven't.
going on there.
Since the last time I was on, we have literally the last time I was on, we didn't have new species, which is funny.
Yeah.
We made since then, we have brand new animals, brand new scenery.
We have Leaf. Do you want to talk about? I don't know if you don't have to announce the whole thing, but just talk about your little project you've been doing.
Oh yeah, just that.
The roller coaster thing. That too.
We can turn after fact. We can get into later.
So yeah, I've kind of
we can start with coasters though.
Oh yeah, I've uncovered basically all the requirements needed to make roller coasters, quote unquote. I'm still working on like some different ride types and stuff. I'm going on vacation, unfortunately, so I won't be able to have enough time to work on actual models and stuff, but hopefully soon enough I will look into that. But yeah, we've essentially turned all the trains, all the sky gondolas, all the monorails, every single cracked ride in Planet Zoo into roller coasters, and I put out like a couple videos on that. I worked in Suyana for a little bit. Big shout out to Estan right there. And yeah, basically just figuring out like the possibilities we can achieve. So it's really cool to see how like the coasters. Oh, there he goes. He's putting it up right now. But it's just really cool to see how well this system still can work in this. And it's kind of like they really did copy paste the code. Like, it has all the roller coasters from base game Planet Coaster. It has like all the names. I didn't play Planet Coaster, so I don't really know the names, but it's still really cool to have this engine still working in Planet Zoo.
That's amazing. And you were saying, for those of you that don't know, when the coasters are going, most times it's just one constant speed, but you're working on forces and gravity a little bit.
Yeah, so it kind of works. It kind of works, so you can see it in the video for a little bit. Like, they do launch off. It's like a limb launch or whatever you guys call it.
Yeah. Yep, you're right.
You can see, like, it does build up speed in, like, the loop-de-loops and stuff like that, and it does, like, lose speed in some places. It's just it's a little bit of a difficult system to handle, but hopefully when I'm back and we start to get some, special videos out, some special projects, we're gonna have a full release for it, and it's gonna be amazing for all you guys to have.
This is I mean, just this wasn't a requirement at all. This has nothing to do with zoos, really. It's just that you kind of didn't really stumble upon it, but you kind of a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Just
So
kind of stumbled
like,
upon all the.
so I was just sitting in VC one day with like Nick, with Croco and other boys, and I was just like, I'm making like a train right now, and I remembered like back in the day, I was like going through all the FDBs and stuff, and that's basically where you can change like values. So like for animals, you can change how much guests like them, and I was like, I wonder if there's anything in there for like trains. So I just basically made it so trains can go 1,000,000 miles per hour, and I was able to do that. So I kept on trying more and more things. So I got helixes to work, I got loop-de-loops to work. I was able to like unlock how long and how short you can make the tracks. So you can do like a straight 90-degree turn in 1 meter. So that's like some of the stupid stuff you can do. But it's just really good.
Technically, it has more features than Planet Coaster had.
I was gonna say, the coaster nerds are gonna go crazy here and that.
Yeah, because the only limitations, of course, right now are it's not. Because I know people in the comments are like, oh, can you just directly copy paste them from Planet Coaster? That isn't going to be possible because they are technically different games, but we can kind of fake it like we've always done with modding, where I could take the models of the coasters from Planet Coaster and then like kind of turn this train that you're seeing right now into a Planet Coaster, looking coaster essentially, and have it not look like a just railroad track.
I got you. So would it be like a replacement mod for each coaster type that you want to do?
It'd be which we might be able to do hypothetically a new type of ride that would be like, instead, if you don't want the train, it would be a copy of the train, but it would be a new ride that would be like a different design or something. That should be possible. The UI is identical to Planet Coaster, Jaunty, because I saw that.
You're not my dad!
You're not my dad! Drew, because Drew's needing like a wing coaster at some point. So
like I said, any custom cars and stuff, because it really comes down to, let's say you're someone who isn't really into animal modding. If you know modeling experience, you could just make new custom coaster cars and stuff.
You're right. Oh man, we're gonna have to get the Planet Coaster theme maker toolkit nerds over to start bringing their models over.
If any of the like coaster people are cool with it, obviously you have some limitations. So we are trying to get chain lifts, and so the thing with chain lifts is they're in the code, but since no actual coasters any rides in Planet Zoo have chain lifts, there's no model for them. So it's in the code, but like we'd have to like really try to figure out how to get something that's not in the game already into the game.
Right.
Which is above Leaf and I's non-existent pay grade, but Jesse or something probably could figure it out with time.
Right, that's what I was going to get is that, the fact that we're having this lengthy of a discussion and you're able to get the tools out, or the coaster builder out this much, and we're only, a week or a week and a half removed from finding this stuff out, the potential for it just seems really, really great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know, man. This is in its infancy right here, and look what they're already able to kind of what the workaround for this. This is pretty incredible.
Speaking of infancy and getting first things out, there's also another thing you guys have been working on that might actually interest zoo people in the zoo game. So what was that again? A whole DLC for free?
So because I there's a lot of stuff we could mention. Like I said, we haven't talked since the beginning.
I know.
But briefly, going over, we have whales in Planet Zoo now. We have dinosaurs in Planet Zoo now. We have prehistoric animals, so the paleo nerds are happy. Fish,
more flamingos,
sharks. We have chain link fences was a big, or chain link pieces was a huge thing as well. But so the big thing that we've been working on, mostly myself, but I want to shout out Jen and Leaf and Level Wolf and Havoc and all the other Bongo, Hardwood, all the other modders that have been helping with the pack. But we are working on our own unofficial Africa pack, which was funny because it was being worked on before we found the data mine that said, hey, Africa is the next pack itself. And yeah, so it's going to be a lot larger than anything that Frontier has put out. I will say that. So I believe right now it was 150 props. It's now closer to 200.
Oh my god.
Every single prop has been made exclusively by me. So I single-handedly made a DLC's worth of stuff in a month.
It's insane.
And I do want to mention, right? I give all the credit to the environmental artists at Frontier. Now, obviously, like, I professionally was an environmental artist as well and stuff, so, you know, makes sense. I have an easier time than your average modder for creating different scenery and stuff. However, I do want to give all the credit to them because I feel like they're not given enough appreciation for the amount of crap they have to do compared to the animal guys.
Right, right.
Not again. Single-handedly, I made 200 props. So you know, if they have a team, they should be able to get it done in 4 months. But I want to say, compared to the animal guys, like, because I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. The Southeast Asia pack as a pack was a terrible rollout. It was kind of sad, honestly, to see this professional company make 3 really bad... Well, I don't want to say 3 really bad. 1 really bad animal, 1 clear clone, and 1 that they had to later touch up anyway, and they couldn't get a sign out in time. All, like, you know, like, the Southeast Asia pack literally has had, 5 patches? Just adding stuff like, oh, we fixed the dole finally, we added this finally, like, not really fixing any major bugs that I can tell other than, you know, other people's games crashing and stuff, but, like, the amount of bugs that were in this pack introduced, and at the end of the day, again, 10 props and a little over a half dozen animals? That's kind of sad that, like, they had this many issues.
Well, people are learning real quick with it happened with Planet Coaster 2, where the more updates and DLCs we got, the more broke the game became, to the point where you're just like, oh yeah, the Control X bug, yeah, you know, you just kind of have to deal with that now, because we didn't get the Control X bug in Planet Zoo, but
yeah, like the new UI,
like,
the new UI, where we're all, I remember we were all discussing, or like, what was the goal here? If the goal was to make it easier, they failed miserably.
Yeah, like what meeting happened where
faster, it's not.
Yeah, what meeting happened where some person's like, I really like this new UI configuration. Let's go ahead and go with that, Tim. It's like, do you guys play your game?
It just made no sense, because again, I'm not a UI artist or anything, but it doesn't take a genius to be like, hey, if you're gonna do arrows or a scroll bar, you don't do both.
Right. Well, I messaged. I won't call them out or anything, but I messaged someone whenever a DLC releases that is their job, is to design UI, and they're just like, well, they did it again. They made it even worse somehow. They're like, they have every single update they've done to the UI, they have made it worse. They're like, whoever the UI manager is needs to be fired now.
Yeah, I was like, so yeah, that's like a little side tangent, but because that was just like one of the like, what are you doing?
And I will say one of the like more amazing things that Nick has put out is the new Trade Center UI, which is a little video we covered a little bit before in SDN. I don't know if you want to throw that on the screen or something, but this is like the ideal layout. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's like one of the best things that they could add.
And like, I know you probably couldn't add it, but and then a search bar. Like,
yeah,
I feel like a crazy person.
Thing. It makes
I feel like a crazy person that there was no search bar for a game that has over 100 something items to choose from.
It makes no sense. It's a game with search bars in every other aspect. The Zopedia has one. The scenery selector has one. So why wouldn't the animal selector have one?
Right. It's like mind-boggling.
That makes no sense. Yeah, like that frustrates me to no end.
Like I feel like that has to be on purpose for a big fuck you guys for requesting it so much.
and don't even like. And again, I hate when they do. Oh, it's a engine thing. No, it's not. Stop saying that.
That's like the biggest excuse. Like, we can't have glass in the game. Why not? It's an engine thing. 6 months later. Okay, you can have glass now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that.
6 months later.
But yeah, so like I said, the Africa pack has 200 props and about 25 animals. Again, all made by a team of less than 6 people in a month. Because people have only been working on it for about a month.
Let me play devil's advocate of what I'm going to hear on Reddit. But actually, your animals aren't that good in comparison to Frontier, so...
Actually...
And I would like to use this opportunity to defend ourselves in several ways. Because it's not just a one-point argument. Number one, we are not salaried working employees who work there 40 hours a week. That is not our job. We do this as a hobby in our free time.
True.
Number two, we don't have the official tools that Frontier has. We had to reverse engineer their game to do all of this. So there's that. Number three, it doesn't matter what you think is high quality. Again, I can list 15 bugs off the top of my head that Frontier hasn't fixed since the beginning. The capuchin monkey still has a messed up face. And that's been, Leaf, how long has it been? Literally like 4 or 5 updates, like literally since South America.
Updates, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish you guys would stop forcing everyone to download your mods. Like that's really
and then that's the other thing. At the end of the day, okay, so that's another thing. These are free, so we are not charging you like Frontier.
Right.
So
like some.
And then, like you said, finally, they're optional. You don't need to download them. No one's got a gun to your head saying, "Hey, if you don't download the Rhino mod, you're gonna, you know."
Right. Like, here's the thing, no offense at all to Nick or Leaf or any of the other modders. If you think a mod looks like shit, you don't have to get it. You can just sit there and think, I don't like how that looks, and then move on with your day.
Yeah, because I used to say that about when the Theme Maker Toolkit came out and people were like getting all butthurt about it. I'm like, dude, if the cream will rise to the top. If somebody imports a shitty looking model, people just aren't going to download it. Like, chill. Like the good stuff will rise, and you can use it or not use it or skip it or like what the hell. But don't just.
That's a good point. Like, we went through this same bullshit with the Theme Maker Toolkit where people are like, oh, you shouldn't download that or you shouldn't make that. It's like, dude, just why does it matter so much that people have to do the exact same thing you do? Like, stop thinking you're the center of the universe, bro.
Yeah, okay, don't use it then. But don't make it to where the rest of us can't.
Right.
And because I think this is and I'm sure Leaf and I think it's better, and I was maybe going to make a video of this because it has been frustrating for people like Leaf and I lately. The hate, not even like, oh my god, they're hate comments. The, like, just sheer, like, audacity almost to, like, be like, they feel entitled that they can just roast our mods the entire time and then demand fixes, even though they didn't pay for it, even though they owed us nothing. They'll be like, oh my god, because we've had literally as early as today, the Africa pack has taxidermy. I would like to mention this. So if anyone is uncomfortable with the idea of taxidermy, I am sorry. I included it in this pack. I used it in defense of myself for educational purposes for either museums or anti-poaching campaigns you might have in your zoo. So as an example, you have an elephant tusk item in the pack. I assumed you would use it in conjunction with maybe those anti-ivory education boards that are already available in the game. Because I see a lot of people make it, you know, on Bro Nation all the time. I see, oh my god, look, here's an elephant skull in a museum tablet, or here's like a weird education board on the ivory trade, or, you know.
Yeah, I must have missed the really big backlash when Carlos made all those amazing, like, ape skeletons and, you know, mammoth.
Yeah, like, that's kind of my point, right? So, it was okay when they were, you know, primitive pieces or whatever, but now that it's, oh my god, that's the actual animal, it's like, well, yeah, what did you expect? Like, when Carlos and stuff was making that, he was implying what I'm making, you know what I mean?
Lion killer and leaf poacher.
I hate to be the wake up call to these people, but never visit a real world museum or art center or zoo even.
Every zoo I've been to has some form of taxidermy or animal skulls, whether they like it or not. like
dead animal on the wall doesn't always mean like vicious hunter who was just killing for fun. Like, it can be used for like sour points in history or like bad black eyes can be used for educational purposes, and we expect that people have the brain capacity much bigger than a 5-year-old to comprehend them. But
and then we had the same thing happened with the orcas, because we knew that would happen.
Oh yeah, and the dolphins and stuff.
I
just
think that was my
people.
favorite situation.
Yeah, Leaf can explain that part.
So I just put out like a Reddit post because, you know, I'm not really a big fan of the Planets Do Reddit, but, you know, I just still have to put stuff out there. So I made the orca post and I was like, guys, the orca's out right now. Go download it, blah, blah, blah. And some guys like, you really shouldn't keep orcas in captivity. And I'm like, sir, this is a Wendy's. Like, we're putting them in the game.
Sir, this is a game.
Oh my god. And then he's like, I'm going to tell Frontier on you. And I'm like...
And they really did. They really did. They took it to the forums. They took it to the forums. They were like, you need to... And that's what's been hilarious. They take it to Nexus. They take it to the forums. They take it to the Facebook groups and Discords and stuff. And they're like... And this was like an actual big debacle recently, was... How dare these modders go against Frontier's vision of the game and dare to put orcas in this game? Which, first of all, I'd like to say, we don't actually know if Frontier is against or for orcas in captivity. Mm-hmm. They could have done it officially.
They just haven't done it yet, right?
Yeah, they haven't done it. It doesn't mean... But they were cool with polar bears and elephants and stuff, so is dolphins really that crazy? They didn't do it, but, you know, it's not like we weren't really, you know, entertaining the idea that maybe if we got an aquarium pack, we'd get them. But,
well, and, you know, James kind of brings up a good point, and Leaf, you'll be able to relate to this, because I know you play The Sims 4, but, like, if people are worried about orcas being modded into the game, never play The Sims 4, because you could literally mod in, like, you know, dead people and, like, baby, like, just the most fucked up the most screwed up stuff you can think of. So, like, if people are gonna have a problem with orcas, like, I can't wait to see what we have in, like, a year when you actually get a modder that is kind of messed up in the head and put stuff in the game. Like, that's not gonna be part of Frontier's vision, I promise you that. But, like, that's the whole arcing point, is, like, it doesn't matter if it's part of Frontier's vision. This is modding.
It's modding. Yeah, like what if we get somebody that mods in, like, actual hunting mechanics or something, and, you know, they're like, a lion is like hunting down, you know, and there's blood, and, you know, I mean, what do we? I mean, it's modding.
So, as an example, my Africa pack is not a poaching pack. I will, because again, people like this. Oh, you're making the poaching pack. I am not making a poaching pack. But if you know what, if someone wanted to, I'd be all for it. Because you know what, it's their choice. I don't have to download it. I disagree with having janky looking dinosaurs in my game as much as unicorns or something. I just don't download them. That's fine.
Right.
Speaking of
the overarching theme is, you know, I think half the people that are making these arguments are probably like 6 years old and don't have like an adult brain yet, so they can't really comprehend these. But yeah, it's just, if you don't like something and it's free, you don't have to download it.
But speaking of that, Drew, we've got to pivot here a little bit. Speaking of dinosaurs, I got to take you back a few million years. We got to hold
that stand down here, everyone.
We got to jump into some Prehistoric Kingdom chatter.
What about? What is there to chat about?
Oh, sorry, damn!
Cricket noise.
Damn!
What happened? Like, man, we were going from, hey, here's what's going on, to, we're not going to talk about shit.
Dude, Lion Rider, what the hell is going on with Prehistoric Kingdom? We've kind of just been, it's kind of stopped, really. I will give it, Lion Rider was kind of messaging me the other day, and we believe that Mao, one of the lead devs on Prehistoric Kingdom, he said, we believe in one of the live streams, that beta has been pushed back to Q3 at the earliest now.
Not officially. He never said it officially. He heavily implied it, however, that development is not going as fast as they would have liked. And so, therefore, it is possible we could be seeing a later beta / early access release, which, I'll be completely honest, I almost entirely figured anyway. I thought it was like, their timeline for development just made no sense. They're like, hi, here's this bare bones alpha, and then 2 months later we're going to get out a beta, or a month later, I think it wasn't because it was April, right? Like, so a month later we're gonna get a beta, and then a month after that we're gonna get an
early access.
Here's the early access.
You know what it reminded me of a Frontier rollout, the way that they do their stuff.
Oh, daddy.
But I think I think that's sort of the biggest issue. And again, I want to give.
Just go ahead. You're fine.
Yeah, because I appreciate everything the Prehistoric Kingdom developers have done. Completely awesome guys. I love Vic. I love Mao, Nate. They've all been
they're awesome team.
They've been great to the modding community. They're again, community management wise, or if you reached out to them, they'll respond.
Right,
no
right.
issue with that. But from a marketing standpoint, I really disagree with how they rolled out the game thus far, and because I had these kind of critiques and stuff before the game was coming. I remember months ago you guys were like kind of hyping it up in your heads too, like, oh my god, we're gonna be doing collabs together, we're gonna be getting all this is gonna be I don't even care who's gonna be playing Planet Zoo in 2 months. We're gonna be playing PK, and I'm like, yeah, maybe, I hope so, but I was just a little on the fence about that. When Alpha was coming really close, everyone was getting very hyped. I made a whole video about, I'm like, everyone needs to get off the PK hype train. You're going to be really let down after, a week or so of playing it. And it was kind of like, because, we got the Alpha, and again, as someone who's played it, phenomenal. I really love it, but I also am not really the target demographic that they're shooting for. They're trying to grab the JWE, JPOG people, / Zoo Tycoon people who like management, who like in-depth stuff. I'm just a guy who likes building rocks, so I don't care about dinosaurs. I don't care. I just like the rocks are great.
I'm a rock guy.
Scaling. And so people like, the four of us and Rudy and Delady and stuff, we gave it, if we were to review it, we would have given it like a 99 out of 100.
Oh,
like,
yeah, man. Our minds were blown. Like, when we first got our hands on that, we were like, oh, my God, this is what we've wanted for 7 years. Like, yeah, we were, Yeah,
everyone was kind of really, heavy-handed, like, oh, my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And it was fun for a little bit, but to me it felt like a really good Planet Zoo DLC. It was fun for a week. I really enjoyed it. Occasionally I'll poke my head in and be like, oh, let's build a habitat, because it's great. The tools are great, but if you're looking for long-lasting gameplay or a lot of the splashy stuff they kind of advertised, you don't have it. Like, I remember early on everyone was freaking out about aviaries. Turns out aviaries really aren't that fun. They're just kind of yep, that's a bird, and then cool. It's basically building another habitat, which is fine, but it's nothing that's groundbreaking because I know a lot of people want birds in Planet Zoo. I'm like, well, I've kind of experienced it in Prehistoric Kingdom. It's fine, but I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be truly revolutionary either. But yeah, it's good. It's just, I think they advertised it as, look at how good looking this is. We're going toe to toe with Planet Zoo, very blatantly. Like here's in all of their marketing and all of their trailers, it is almost entirely Planet Zoo, like verbatim with dinosaurs. But what it's missing is kind of any type of gameplay. It's kind of like those bare bones kind of copy paste of Planet Zoo with a couple of neat features. I like the brush, I like scaling, but past that, you're getting a lot less items. The dinosaurs don't do anything. The people don't do anything. There's, and there's no economy. You just infinitely get money, and that's it. And there's no way to lose money, so it's kind of just, it's not really a game. It's more of, here's the Unity game engine, have fun with 200 items.
Which personally, like everything you just
which
mentioned,
is fun.
Like, I knew I was only going to do it for a week. What I'm concerned about now
is the beta, where it's
they've totally 180'd on their communication. It went from, here's what's going on, hey, we had a hiccup, hey, we had this go on, so we're gonna have to postpone for like another day or something, to we're not gonna say shit after the alpha comes out except for when there's an update, and that's it. Like, we haven't heard, like, we had to hear from you that maybe the beta is being pushed back, and maybe, it just seems like a really weird transition from super duper, like, we were praising their communication and everything, to like, you guys have just shut down completely.
Right, man.
Like,
yeah,
retweet like one person.
That's,
I don't know. It's just like,
that's what we were saying. We're like, the communication pre-alpha and during alpha was, I mean, absolutely incredible. But then, like, in the last month or so, it's like they're almost aggravated or something. Like, they don't want to be bothered with, like, interacting with us like they would before.
Which, I mean, that philosophy has been around for a while. Like I said, that kind of aggravated, we don't want to work on this thing, kind of getting bored of it mentality, which, again, I'm a fellow developer. I 100% know the grind. It sucks when you're... The first 90% of games development is super fun. It's that last 10% that takes the longest. That last 10% will take you 4 times longer than the entire first 90%, but it is hell. Because you're bored, you've played tested the game 100 times, you don't want to touch it, which is what Mal was saying. He's like,
that's exactly what Mal said.
Have you enjoyed PK? And he's like, I haven't played the game.
Yeah, he's like,
run tests all day.
Yeah, he said, hell no. He's like, I'm not playing the game anymore.
And, to an extent, he shouldn't have to be, I don't think he should have to be, like, the kind of spokesperson. And to be honest with you, from me, a bit of an outsider to their whole team, like, Mao, Vic, and, like, maybe one other person are, like, the spokesperson for PK. And one of them is, like, a lead developer who shouldn't even be worrying about being a spokesman, in my opinion.
That's fair. I'd agree with that.
And, the fact that just we are so in the dark about everything right now is just kind of like, what are y'all doing?
Absolutely, it absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely did a 180.
Show us some behind the scenes stuff, even if it's a work in progress. That's why we were so excited leading up to alpha, because they were so transparent with, hey, this isn't done yet, but look at what we're working on in the background with these new wall options, or hey, look, we're working on some trees. They're not done yet, but at least it just. I was almost hoping that it would go from alpha to beta to be like, hey, this beta thing that we're thinking about doing, it's not done yet, but here's a little snippet of it. And, it's just kind of like, we got some of the dev diaries and stuff like that, but it just hasn't really had the meat and hook that the lead up to the alpha did. And I don't know if that was a conscious decision on their end or what, but it's noticeable.
Another thing that Drew mentioned to me too, when they kind of borked that live stream of last week, Drew said, and I 100% agree, they should have had an actual content creator on that live stream building.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know why they didn't, like, again, nothing against Mao or anyone at the team, but y'all look bored.
Like, yeah.
It was boring to watch.
You should have had somebody from the community.
Yeah, add some energy, especially because, again, I get they weren't really pitching it as a, hey, this is going to be some new information. It was very clear about, hey, we're just playing the alpha, which, again, I think was already kind of a weird thing, because anyone who wanted to see alpha footage would have watched it
there.
for the. Yeah, I was like, we've played it for like the last month,
right?
So
and like the person who was playing, again, like, no offense to them, but like placing one kind of plant for an hour and a half and then talking about kind of nothing is not a great way to show off your game. Like,
is that what they did?
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I'm coming from. Where even if it wasn't intended as a marketing stream, you are one of the developers, you are advertising this on your Discord. It's a marketing stream. Whether you like it or not, it's a marketing stream. And you kind of got to deliver. Because, again, I can't stress this enough. I respect their being they've always been honest about the product. They don't sell it at all. Every single stream I've ever seen, either Simply Zoo, before the alpha came out, that one little Q&A stream, and they just shit on their own game all the time.
Yeah, they really.
We don't, you don't buy the beta. Don't even.
Yeah,
get it.
that's exactly what Mal. Yeah,
Mal.
Mal was like, "Don't buy this yet. It's overpriced." Remember when the early access was like $85? They're like, "Don't buy this.
It's not worth it for you." And it's like, I appreciate the honesty, but wow, that doesn't really get me hyped. That I remember like we were all really excited for that stream. We thought we were going to see gameplay, and after that stream, like all of us who were covering it, we were all like, "Huh." I mean, we got some good info, but yeah, I'm excited. Like,
Yeah,
it just seemed like they were intentionally just kind of like shitting on the game, like trying to bury it all. And I was like, why? Like, if you're so proud of your product that you're like, here's Nigel Marvin, he signed on to it. Look at how good looking our game is, etc. And it's all of those things. And it is fun. Like, again, I will say that it's fun. Then kind of show some pride in your work. You don't kind of dwell on, oh, well, this is the worst thing ever. It's going to be the worst, You have some good things going. Like, maybe don't... Like, right now, we know the Mammoth is coming out in the beta. And I think that was even in the last dev post. Everyone was eyeballing that dev post because we're looking for beta news. We're looking for news on what they've been working on, what's new, what pieces are we gonna get, whatever. And instead it was like, hi everyone, we have nothing really to show right now. Here's the Iguanodon, bye.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Okay. And I remember I was like, well, should I cover this on my channel? And I was like, there's not really much to cover. I can't make a 10-minute video out of this. It's just saying we have nothing to show. Here's Rudy's build from the week. Like... Which isn't news that people want to see. They want to see beta on the June 10th or whatever. Like, I mean, a lot of people were expecting it in May, but they were expecting it. And so it was just kind of a little disappointing that it was like, beta will have 3 new animals. Okay, are you going to add new pieces? Possibly. Like,
right, because
okay.
that is absolutely going to hit flat if... obviously, yes, the 3 new animals would be great, but if some more muscle, if more muscle's not put into this,
to be fair, they've mentioned many times that Alpha wasn't going to have any gameplay, so let's be fair to them there, and then B, that they will be implementing it over time. So I don't think it's really fair to say like, oh, the dinosaurs just stand there. Like, we knew that was going to be a thing, so I don't think that's really fair to be against it. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, but what makes I would just argue, what makes the beta any different from the alpha? Why'd you even bother like saying this is a beta if nothing changes and all you're doing is adding
three animals? Yeah, just give that to us in an update.
Yeah, exactly. Like that should just be a free alpha update. I don't really feel like it's a new game, and if that's what the early access is 22 static animals that just kind of walk around occasionally, roar, and maybe I really hope we get a lot of props, because if not, it's just kind of like, okay, well then the people who get early access really aren't gonna be. I understand why they said hold off until early access, maybe even until launch, because if you're not into building, you're probably not gonna have a fun time. You're just gonna be like, okay, well.
And what's disappointing me the most is kind of like their attitudes are shifting. Like even Goose was, given though the dude did like ping him, even Goose got kind of live with somebody in the PK Discord and it's like, don't add us, don't ask devs questions like this and ping us. Keep the chat here and ask everybody here. And I'm thinking, and I'm like,
you're the community manager.
I'm like, yeah, Goose, you're kind of the community manager. Like this Discord, I hate to say it, but it's like a lot of Discords. It's not very productive. Like they're talking about just weird shit with dinosaurs and stuff. Like this is supposed to be a Prehistoric Kingdom discussion page, and this guy's just asking you specifically because you're the community manager, and these weirdos on here are just talking about dinosaur dicks and stuff. Like, this guy's wanting to know a real feature. All the dude asked was, are tornadoes and earthquakes and stuff going to be a part of Prehistoric Kingdom? And Goose is like, stop pinging us. make the discussion in this Discord. Don't ping us with questions like this anymore. And I was kind of like, fuck, dude, you're the community manager.
That's a bit yikes. Like,
well, that's a little weird.
It was yikes. It was yikes for real.
The rest of the Discord wouldn't know the answer either. You're the developer.
Yeah, it's like, how could these?
Not gonna lie, if he's getting annoyed getting pinged now before the game is even out, can you imagine if the game is released and actually takes off?
Yeah,
like,
what is he? What
pinged all the time?
What the fuck is he gonna do when there's 50,000 50,000 people pre-ordering it and
and being like, the game won't load. This wasn't loading. I downloaded a pirated version of the game. Why is this not working?
Something that kind of concerns me a little bit is, maybe it's misplaced, but I just don't know how, and you kind of mentioned this, Liner, I don't know how into PK they are, because what are they working on, like 4 or 5 other games in the meantime? And I know it's common for companies to do that, but it's like, focus on your one big thing here, and then worry about the zoo game and all that other stuff.
Well, Vic is the main developer. He's the community manager of PK. So for PK, he does the marketing, the interaction with the community, which, like I said, what we just discussed is funny, like the irony of that. But he's supposed to, interact with the community, make his posts, keep the rest of the devs up to date on what's going on in the community, what's, what are people talking about, what was... as an example, like a couple of the modders found, they data mined all the animals that are going to be in the early access.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But you know what? In fair, we told them, we're like, and they're like, okay, if you guys could just try to keep it to yourselves. We're not going to stop you from looking, but just keep it to yourselves. We don't want this public. Totally understand, and everyone was very cooperative. No one had any issue with that.
Right.
But yeah, so like that's kind of the thing. Is you're supposed to keep eyes on that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, like he is also working on Simply Zoo as a side project with a couple of the PK devs as kind of like secondary like modelers and stuff, but he's the main programmer for it. But I do think you gotta, again, Prehistoric Kingdom is the big product you're marketing. It's the big thing you want to focus on, and I just think, again, I think they might have generated the hype too soon, and maybe it was the community, maybe it was just kind of a, again, I can't stress this enough. What we were all hyping up was the pre-alpha of the early access of the game that's not coming out for 3 years.
Oh, and we did it because of their great little
from
trailer.
Marketing. Yes,
they did a really good job, and they also, I think, did a bit of saying. They did a bit of No Man's Sky where they said yes to everything. Is this coming? Yeah. Is this coming? Kinda, but yeah, totally, it's coming.
Yeah, is it coming? Is this dinosaur coming? Yes. And then like they're like, oh yeah, we're definitely getting amusement parks and roller coasters and stuff. We're gonna do aquariums. We're gonna be doing. It's like, why are you promising this stuff before the game's out? Because especially in a community that, again, I respect the devs. They've been very vocal with what they've done right by the dinosaur nerds, but the dinosaur nerds have gotten screwed over in the past. Mesozoica which was a game company, or a game that was developed in part by a lot of the devs of Prehistoric Kingdom, and basically it was like a faction that split off. So the Mesozoica people went and made like this really scummy thing. They stole people's money and made a crappy game and whatever.
Oh shit.
The PK people were the ones that split off and made the by the books, we're doing it right type of game with Prehistoric Kingdom.
Do you guys think though,
there is that distrust, you know what I mean? Like you have to do right by the fans. And that's why I was really concerned when the Kickstarter alpha keys rollout was pretty bad.
Well, yeah.
I was like, you don't want to piss off your Kickstarter backers.
Well, and I was thinking
that
too,
benefits anyone.
Do you guys think that they massively monetarily missed the mark by closing the alpha build to so many thousands of people that were wanting to play?
Yes. I mean, like, once all the content creators started putting out, like, all their content, like, that's the key area for people to buy
Dude,
content
yeah, I mean,
creators are easily right now some of the most marketable people out there right now.
that was like
by closing that, that's it.
Yeah, that was like 90% of my comments. How do I get this game? Where do I buy this at?
Like, I don't understand like what the idea behind that was, because you give it to content creators to show off the game. Like, I get that, but were they thinking that because people are so quick, like they're gonna see the game, be like, can I buy it now? No, you have to wait, possibly half a year. Oh,
Yeah.
well, I don't give a fuck.
People are like,
move
oh.
on.
Because what I felt bad about, right, is I felt like one of the content creators like Best in Slot or Swerve or something who had that original Kickstarter beta of Prehistoric Kingdom.
Yeah.
Where everyone was like, oh, this looks so cool. I can't wait to play the full product. Like, I feel like that's where I don't like how they marketed the game. Because what they marketed was, like, essentially a whole development cycle for an unfinished demo of the game. And so they did all of the marketing.
Jonty was playing that version too. Like, I remember Jonty messaged us one day and he's like, guys, I played this game like 2 years ago. You might not want to get, terribly hyped. It was okay, but
it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was fun, right? And so but you were like, yeah, I can't wait to play it then. And that's what it was kind of weird, because then they kind of treated this like, oh, this is the release finally. That was the demo. That was the alpha. But this is the, we're finally getting it. But no, this is the alpha again. This is the alpha 2 of, like, the game. And so now it's just even more awkward, because now we're like, oh, we all made our videos and our builds and we're like, look how great the game is. And everyone's like, but when's it coming out? Well, I mean, it'll come out in early access, which is essentially still not the game.
Yeah, when can I play?
Later this year.
Like, everybody's like, yeah, this is great. Year. When can I play?
But, like, actual gameplay-wise, the game isn't going to be done, like I said, for another 2 to 3 years. And so I think, unfortunately, I am a bit crass when I say it, but, like, you kind of blew your load too early. You kind of hyped it up with the trailer and Nigel Marvin and got all the content creators' keys and advertising and stuff when it's not done yet. It's just, like, people they were hyped. We all had booms on our channels from people interested in Prehistoric Kingdom, and it was kind of a slap in the face when we're like, look at how great this game is, and you can't buy it right now.
Do you think maybe we answered our own question though with why they've gone so quiet, because the realization has set in that
I think that might be that they might try to bury it, like, where they're like, not like, oh, we want to bury it. They're like, we don't have anything to show.
Yeah, like, there's not.
What you saw is what it is.
Yeah, so, we're working on it, but we do not have a giant leap from alpha to beta to early access. Like, you guys are going to have to just wait. Like, there's not this the big leap isn't ready yet, Exactly. And so, like, that's just the big thing is you got to do, but the bones are there, man. The bones are absolutely there. It's just, can you pull through for us?
If this is I'm kind of okay though, if I know it is a little upsetting if you're like, hey, we're maybe going silent, and it seems bad on our end. We're like, what the hell? Like, you were hyping this game up. I think it might be the right move though, because they're like, well, we have nothing to show. So do you want us to fluff up nothing and then you get bored that way? Or do you want us to stay silent and then when we actually have enough to show you, we show it?
Yeah, they're like, believe us, you'll know first when we're ready.
We're just kind of, the four of us are in a unique position where we're like, well, we've played it, we want more, but
yeah, we want it for content creation.
But if you're we want it to be the next Planet Zoo where we can make news videos regularly and time lapses and stuff like that. But if it's not really in that state yet, then unfortunately it's just kind of like, well, I mean, we'll check back maybe later when it is in that state. But for now, the public, because from what I can tell, the public doesn't care. The public is like, you 5 people that have it can enjoy it. I'll play it when it's done. So because I think we've all seen that as well, where even though early adopters to Prehistoric Kingdom, we had a lot of booms to our channels, over time, the longer you were, hey, look, here's a new Prehistoric Kingdom video, it's not really doing that hot, because everyone's just kind of like, yeah, it's cool, but I can't play it, so why do I care?
The community got it, quote unquote, after the third day.
Exactly. It was kind of like every dinosaur, all 6 of them, you could see on YouTube in 15
There's only so many
minutes.
times you can. There's only so many times you can resize a rock or resize a plank before it goes like, oh, that's so cool. To okay, that's a tool I have now.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we don't have any new builds or anything or dinosaurs, so it kind of became
It doesn't have anything to rest on, right? And that's, I mean, sure, there's the argument to make that it's an alpha and we were told that, this is what it's going to be. But also, I think to wrap up our whole point is the transition between the big build up to alpha to just nothing. It's very jarring to myself and others.
Jonty says, Jonty says Prehistoric Kingdom will never see a full 1.0 release. What say you?
It's possible. Well, because that's another thing that I'm kind of worried about too, right? Let's say it's silent right now, but then early access, they start this marketing cycle all over again, right? And they're like, oh, drums rolling. Look, beautiful new trailer. All these new dinosaurs.
Flying animals, mosasaur.
But that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be that at all, because it would be very similar to the trailer we already got, the teaser trailer, but revealing all the dinosaurs that are in early access, but nothing else. That all the aquatic stuff, and that's not in launch either. So if we get excited for early access and we're like, oh my god, psychologically we're gonna treat it like it's the release, even though it's not, and then we're gonna be like, so when are we getting dinosaurs? And they're like, or marine animals, and they'll be like, oh well, the game's not done yet. It won't be done for another 2 years. You'll be playing early access on Steam for the next 2 years with periodic bug fixes and updates. But if you're looking for any of the stuff that we would consider post-launch stuff, it's not coming anytime soon. We're talking literally, for something like aquatics, literally 4 or 5 years down the road. And yeah, I'm sorry, that's not super. If the Planet Zoo people can't wait a year or whatever for penguins, yeah, I'm sorry. If you're looking for Mosasaurus as the big selling point of Prehistoric Kingdom, you're going to be, in for a rude awakening. Unless the modders will probably get to it first, but yeah, if you're looking for official content, that's going to be, again, something to be really excited for. As a full release, it's years off. And that's kind of what's upsetting, is I don't like how it's just going to be this constant fluctuation between early people got to play this early version, hype it up, but you can't play it. Next round, oh, here's the early access, hype it up, but people who want it for launch, they can't play it. Or they can, but it's going to be buggy and it's going to be missing all the features they wanted to see or something. Mm-hmm. And
so,
that's just kind of
another point that Drew and I needed to try to get your all's thoughts on, and Vic and them are really, really touchy about this, but copying Planet Zoo, how would you explain the similarities and the dynamics of them defending themselves no, we're not copying Planet Zoo, this stuff is in the real world and we're just designing. What are your thoughts on when people say this is just a Planet Zoo clone?
It's the same genre. It's the classic, you're building for animals and you're building animals for entertainment, and there's no way around that. There's no way to tiptoe around that, And instead of just openly denying it, they should probably embrace it and keep on parking in on things that Frontier hasn't really been able to achieve, and try and aim at those goals, because already scaling, that's already such an amazing feature. I absolutely loved it from the times that I played it, and I feel like they should keep on innovating with that. They should make tracked Microraptor aviaries, so you could actually set up your own, so you could have them flutter around a larger aviary without being predetermined to a selective route. And they should just honestly, openly embrace the fact that, yes, they are within the zoo simulator genre, And they should be the innovators within it instead of just being copiers, you know? But
I totally agree. Yeah, instead of being shy about it, yeah, just like lean into it that you guys are everything that Planet Zoo, is and isn't kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's weird that they would even, because they wear it on their shoulder. Like, it's fine. You're copying Planet Zoo. I have no.
It's
we all know
it's
that.
not a secret. Like, you go to their website,
Yeah.
and they both websites look exactly the same.
The defense is usually, well, no, we're not copying Planet Zoo. We're copying Zoo Tycoon. We're copying JPOG, which is fine.
Well, then you're all copying each other.
Zoo,
So it's fine.
but Planet Zoo also copied Zoo Tycoon, so that's fine too. You know what I mean? Like, you can steal stuff from JW. You can steal stuff from Planet Zoo. You can steal stuff from Zoo Tycoon. Again,
just don't treat us dumb when we call you out on it, because it's like if we're noticing it and we're not even in the game industry, like just admit it, man. It's fine, but just like lean into it.
But yeah, I totally agree that maybe if they want to stand out from Planet Zoo, and they already kind of have the market of we're a dinosaur game, which is true. But if they really want to stand out, really emphasize those build tools. Do stuff that even, the four of us we've played the game, but you know what? They could still do even crazier build tools. I know it. Turn it into a modeling like if they could add a mirror tool or something.
Oh God, yes, please.
Or flipping objects. Let's say you made a half a building and then you want to flip it.
Right, just mirror it over. Yeah.
Yeah. So not like copying the blueprint, because how many times have we made like an organic shape and we're like, oh, well, we have to do the whole thing again because it's not, correctly oriented. Yeah, no, flip the whole thing. That'd be cool. Pivot points. I always, as someone who like works with 3D and stuff, pivot point manipulation is like more important than most things. Like if you want to like get real precision with like editing and stuff, editing a pivot point is a huge point, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, like where the little arrows and stuff are like rotating or moving around. So like you would want it in like the corner of an object if you want it to be scaled properly, or with a wooden plank, to scale it up, you would want it at the bottom of the plank instead of the center, or else it would make both the top and bottom extend. You would just want it to extend upward. So like there's a ton of cool building tools they could definitely use, that I think that's where they could really shine. And again, I think they're already doing a great job. If they just release the game as is, with a bunch of dinosaurs and, the tools they have with even 1,000 items, I'm totally fine with it. Because let's face it, 90% of the items in Planet Zoo are cannon fodder. They're just kind of there. I don't know anyone who's avidly, oh my god, I need to use the Planet Zoo South American monkey sign education board frame.
Right.
Yeah.
And Prehistoric King, I know we've kind of been taking the piss out of him a little bit here today, but to give him credit, how big did we freak out when we just had the wall option to just have a drop down menu, and I can't. Oh, that's so much better.
I nearly burst into tears when I used their path system.
Right.
That's how bad, that's how I'm like, oh my god, this really is something special.
Man, that path system is daddy right now. You can freaking paint with it, it is so intuitive and awesome.
Yeah, no, there's a million, and I think that's why we keep bringing up Prehistoric Kingdom, even though there hasn't been that much news, but, excuse me, just that, we're just kind of like...
They're floating in our heads still.
Yeah, it's still around. We still like the game, but we're just kind of like, it's a bit of a... I think it's just overall in gaming, or at least simulation building games right now, it's just like kind of floating around like, what the fuck's going on? what are we doing right now?
Yeah. Well, and that can lead us, Lion Rider, into our last 20 minutes. We'll wrap this up, so these people probably don't want to listen to us yap on any more than that, but...
Just you. The rest of us, but you.
Since we are a bunch of Frontier fanboys, a bunch of Frontier princesses here, what's next for them? I know I've talked with Jonty about this a lot, as far as Jonty's point of view is, and Lion Rider kind of has this point of view too, that as far as the simulation games go as we know it, as far as Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster, those type of games may be taking a back seat to more lucrative ventures for Frontier. Do you think a Planet Coaster 2 ever happens at this point? Or are they moving on to the F1s and to the publishing for smaller studios? What is in our Frontier future? Do we have a Frontier future with the type of games that they're going to go on to develop?
Anyone want to go first, or should I?
I mean, I think it's just going to fluctuate. I mean, I feel like, the simulation genre goes up and down. It goes up and down. I mean, we recently got, like, the resurgence with Planet Coaster for, like, Roller Coaster Tycoon and all those different sims from back in the day.
Right.
And I feel like they're just going to wait until the perfect time to strike. Because let's not put anything past them. They're a smart company. They know where to make their money, and they know what sells good.
Right.
I mean, especially like with the Animal Pack for Southeast Asia. I mean, they made so much money off of it. I'm not really the biggest fan of that. But no, they know that there's money in like the F1 series. They know, like right now, the simulation genre is kind of taking a little bit of back toll, which, is fine. Personally, I'm really happy with like Planet Zoo and how it's going. But I'm perfectly fine if they kind of focus their efforts somewhere else. And then once people start to create a huge desire for Planet Coaster, they're going to strike right then. And I just can't wait for that, because it'll be such a great moment for the community as a whole. And maybe even like another player may make their face come out to be in like, we might get like Coaster World or something.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because up until Planet Coaster came out, everyone was looking Roller Coaster Tycoon 4. When's that going to come out?
Yeah.
And you didn't even think of Frontier or anything. And then Roller Coaster Tycoon World unfortunately did come out, and everyone's like, oh, can anything else come out? And then Planet Coaster filled the gap. But yeah, that's an interesting point. I agree with you too about the fluctuations in simulation and building games, because they're not that popular. I mean, we're a niche community with these kind of games, right? So it makes sense that it's not always there's not always a new Planet game coming out or anything, like a new Call of Duty or anything. But yeah, I hope it's not too big of a drought though, because the last time we had to wait, it was almost a decade that we had to wait for building simulation.
The only thing I could see making a big splash now that we're kind of at the end of this cycle, City Skylines 2, guys.
Well, that'd be the perfect cherry on top, wouldn't it? That would be the big send off, I think.
That could be a send off for this cycle until like the early 2030s, late 2020s. Yeah, City Skylines 2. What's it been? 6 years? Has it been 6 or longer than that?
Well, it's been officially a year and a half since the last DLC for City Skylines, and they normally are like Frontier, where they'll do one every 3, sometimes 6 months. So it's definitely been like a long enough time where people are kind of like, like how we are with Planet Coaster 2, where it's like, okay, so what's going on?
Yep.
As devil's advocate, I kind of feel hopeful. Or actually, yeah, no, I'm going to say I feel confident we're getting Planet Coaster 2. And a lot sooner than maybe you guys think. I don't think it's going to be like, it's coming out this year, guys, but I don't think you're going to be waiting 7-8 years. I think you're going to be waiting maybe 2-3 years max.
Yeah, but do you think it'll be Planet Zoo with roller coasters, or will they actually take a step forward with the series?
It depends on what you define as a step forward. Because it'll have the lighting of Planet Zoo. It'll have the optimization of Planet
weather,
Zoo.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll have... I do think you are probably going to be looking at new mechanics and stuff, be it... Because what I found funny is, I don't know why they never made a water park expansion, because their coaster system that's already in place, I was like, why did no one just make a water slide mod? Because, like, the coaster... If you take one of the existing water rides and get rid of the person in the vehicle they're in, that's a water slide. Like, it works exactly the same. There's just water.
That's
a weird
an interesting point. Is the Planet Coaster community never really gave a shit about modding. Like, they kind of did, but they were more concerned about putting in, like, scenery items. So, like, I need the scenery item that looks like the mod that we might be... But then you guys came along and were like, oh, we got this. Like, right out the gate.
Yeah, you guys are like, we can change gameplay mechanics here. Like, we can do this.
Blew my mind.
Yeah, whereas, like, Planet...
Exactly.
Yeah, Planet Coaster, they're just like, we need more rides. Well, where's our freaking rides?
there was only like 2 people or like a handful of people working on mods, and it just wasn't that big a deal for some reason in the coaster community. Like people just didn't think that big or something. I don't know.
Which is odd because it was huge. Like in my opinion, I think it's bigger than the zoo community. In truth, it was just for some. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone was just. There's this weird philosophy with Frontier that unless Frontier themselves makes it, it can't be done. If there's no way, which just it's baffling to me because I'm like, are you guys sure you guys are the coaster and zoo nerds? I don't think you guys are from these communities. I think you guys are just leeches from the.
I know.
Especially because back in the
zoo people
days.
Yeah, the zoo people like in modern day. I'm like, you guys, no, don't call yourselves zoo nerds or I'm a zoo, I play these types of games and I know what's best. It's like, you don't, because clearly you don't have the, 15, almost 20 years in the series
I've kind of thought that too,
it seems like other than me and Eben and Leaf, and Jesse, we're like, have you guys even played Zoo Tycoon? And we played Zoo Tycoon 3. It's like, well, then I know why you hate them. I know why Planet Zoo is a breath of fresh air for you because it's, the bare minimum for like a lot of us.
Well, and back in the Zoo Tycoon 2 days, modding was the way to go. Modding was literally what drove the community, and I don't know, just seeing this vanilla only gameplay style taking the front seat as to Planet Zoo, it's honestly really disheartening because you're limiting your no offense to anyone who plays vanilla, I completely understand that. I do the same with Minecraft, but you're limiting your animal palette so much. You are limiting yourself from doubling your gameplay roster, I must add, and I don't know, just building the same habitats over and over again for the same animals. Why not shake it up a little bit? No, there's just such a disdain towards it.
Yeah, well, we want Planet Coaster 2. Okay, add coasters to Planet Zoo. We want Planet Aquarium. Okay, well, Planet Coaster 2. If you want to hold off on coasters for Planet Coaster 2, I think that's fair, because that's pretty likely. If you're someone who's like, I want a Planet Aquarium game, that's not happening, buddy. So, mods with aquariums and fish and stuff are the best you're going to get, because Frontier isn't going to touch it. So, if you're someone who is just for some reason just hellbent on if Frontier doesn't make it, then I'm sorry.
Well, do you guys think the lifelong Planet Coaster argument about them not giving us a quote unquote RCT3 soaked, a water park expansion, was it purely just a technical standpoint? They just couldn't make it happen? Or
they definitely could have.
Did they just not want to? What was the reason for not making those thousands and thousands of extra dollars, giving us a water park DLC?
Because they realized they can make more money by doing less.
No, actually, Leaf, I have a rebuttal.
Oops.
All right.
I don't think they know how to run a business well, because I don't think they see the potential with this money. If this industry was run by EA instead, or the games franchise. Yeah. If this was EA, are you kidding me? We would have gotten weekly DLCs.
Dude, I said that.
This is a boatload of money they're missing out on.
Yes.
I forget about the whole. Oh well, they're so cheap. Oh my, I can't believe it. 5 whole DLCs over the course of a year. It's that's the bare minimum. Because when you talk about, hey, we gave you 20 animals in a community that literally would be willing to pay $20 per animal if you asked, that you could release weekly, probably. This community is hellbent on just dishing out money, and it makes no sense that in any other simulation game, most companies realize this. Truck Simulator,
that's what I've told Drew.
The Sims, they all realized, hey, by the way, the nerds of whatever fandom are gonna pay whatever you ask.
Dude, look at The Sims.
Literally, they just shit out, hey, here's a fucking couch, and there you go.
I literally thought that's what they were gonna do. When I heard what Planet Zoo was coming out, I was like, oh, well, then it's easy. There's how many freaking animals in the world? They're gonna release
that's the easiest marketing thing ever. Right. But no, they went, nope, we're limiting it to 4 animals, and that's it. because
that was so mind-boggling.
as an example, I don't think if we had weekly animals or something that were just cranked out, I don't think you would have this big issue of modding that everyone talks about.
No, why would you? You guys are filling a void that's within the community. That's all you're doing. You're filling a need.
Yeah, I mean,
so
like Nick said, give us 3.
Demanding more animals.
Yeah, give us 3 animals every 2 weeks, or and do $3.99 on them or something.
Leaf, you are the perfect example of your flamingo pack that you released. That could have easily been a
Frontier pack for $5.99. Right.
Yes, that came out, in the middle of June, or something like that. And people would have bought it like crazy. And then next week, have a tapir pack, or just insert any animal that everyone says, oh, you can clone that real easy. Yeah, embrace that you can clone that real easy and make a pack out of it.
Yeah,
because I see like a subscription service happening for this stuff too. I mean, you pay $5.99 per month, you get like whatever 6 animal clones a month. That is the perfect strategy to get more people involved with the game.
Do you guys want to
Yeah.
Do you guys want to make a game and a zoo game, and we can make a business out of this?
Trust me, I would love to. If I could get enough people alongside myself to justify a competitor like PK is doing, like I said, I'd love to use the PK devs. I'm like, make a zoo game, goddammit.
Right.
There's a market.
We can print money.
Yeah, and that's what bothers me to no end is knowing what makes money and what Frontier does. And maybe Frontier can be like, well, we're a nice guy. We don't want to prey on our consumers and stuff. And I'm like,
no, don't look at it like that.
Too. We're like, please take advantage of us.
Yes,
please
we want to pay you.
That's how they look at it. They need to get out of being a business then, because if you look at your customer base that way, then you shouldn't be running a business.
It's like your customers shouldn't have to beg you to spend money. We shouldn't have to say, please give us something that we can buy. We want something new. We will pay you. Give us new animals. It's like, that's a weird problem they've put themselves in. We don't have enough stuff to spend money on with them because they only give us stuff to spend money on every 90 frickin' days.
And, I think another result of this is that people stop caring as much. I mean, you see it over Planet Zoo's lifetime. Now, imagine if there was, like we're talking, after the game came out, there was an Arctic, mini pack that came out that had a quick Arctic animals in it for $6 2 weeks after the game came out.
Every single week, it was just a few animals, 2-3 animals.
And then it led up to the bigger, release every 3 months. They would constantly keep hype going for the game, and then it would lead up to, the big Arctic pack, we release some of the Arctic animals along the way, then boom, big DLC Arctic pack, and then we're going to release some aquatic animals along the way, boom, big aquatic DLC 3 months later. It's just keep the hype going. But we go through these times, which is what we started the podcast with, which is now a month after it's just what are we doing? No one has any idea of what to build. We're all bored, and we're not going to hear from Frontier for another 2 months. So it's
3 months.
And like I said, I will be the first to admit, anyone who says, oh, well, Frontier is a business and whatever, I'm like, well, they're a dumb business then. Because at the end of the day, I can't comprehend, because what is the main argument they always make about, well, Planet Zoo isn't as profitable. Make it profitable. That's what a good business does. They go, hey, maybe this isn't working. We need to make money. So how do you do it? Well, they're asking for this, so let's give it to them. And I think in their head, they're like, well, we did it. We gave them 8 animals. And it's like, yeah, no, but you need it more frequently. You need to be doing 8 animals monthly.
It's just
every quarter.
Spend a little bit and put a team on it.
Since we know about the Africa pack, we know they're going back to their old ways of 4 animals. What the hell are they doing?
This sounds crazy, but if you put in work after you release the game, people will continue to buy the game and support it. But if it's very obvious that you're putting in the bare minimum for the DLCs, people are going to start to not give a shit.
But Drew, that always goes back to your point of you think these games are designed from the ground up with 2-year life cycles, 2-year life cycles in mind.
Yeah. 100%.
Which at least from Frontier's standpoint, is a dumb position because they have a monopoly over the market. They have a monopoly over zoo sims, roller coaster sims, soon to be racing probably. Well, maybe not a monopoly over that.
Dude,
but,
could you imagine the Formula One fans if they're going to get an update only every like 3 months for an F1
which is my
game?
point, right? Like,
Oh my god, they're going to freak out.
Like, I just don't understand how they can't look at their competitors. EA, I forget who makes
Paradox.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but like, literally, like Train Simulator is like what, like $4,800 or something.
People buy it.
But they bought it. So that's my point. And like, I have a buddy who's a big flight sim, fan. He buys all that shit because here's how you make and the zoo fans are just as crazy as train nerds or plane nerds or racing or any other kind. And so here's how you make your money back, right? They drop $40 on Planet Zoo. I can make you another $40 in the first 2 months if you just release $5 2 animal packs weekly. If you just say, here's a lemur pack, $5, people pay it. Here's another. We paid what, $11 for 3 animals with the deluxe edition. That should be your friggin'. If people are okay paying for that, keep doing that. What are you doing?
Here's your minimum. Yeah, Dude, I don't get it. It literally is leaving money. Like, we were kind of talking about that with Prehistoric Kingdom leaving money on the table. Planet Zoo for the last 2 years has been leaving thousands of dollars on the table.
Yeah, man. If you just do $5 and say 13,000 people buy this animal pack. We'll just really conservative. 13,000 people. That's $65,000 a week times 4 weeks. $260,000 a month if you just got 13,000 people to buy your $5 pack 4 times a month.
Right. And Jonty, I like what Geekism Jonty brought up. This is YouTube advice, but it totally applies here where he's told SA and myself and others that you can live off YouTube if you get 1,000 people that will buy anything that you say to buy. If you have merch and you have 1,000 people that follow you no matter what, that you made a living. Now apply that to a business, right? If Apple has millions of people that will buy no matter what they put out, or Frontier has thousands of people that will buy no matter what they put out, they're literally just leaving money on the table.
It's the most ironic thing. The people who have a monopoly over the tycoon genre are really bad at running a tycoon.
Damn! Of irony right there, isn't it? We just all need to run our own company.
We need to just start a gaming company.
Yep.
If I had the money, I had the employees. Because, it seems predatory, but at the end of the day, people are just asking you to just do this. Listen to them. I don't care. I don't understand if how the main argument is. Well, upper management. Yeah, what is wrong with your upper management? Fire your CEO if they're saying, we don't want to make money. Like, why would we want to make money? We have our, what? Like, give us an I just want an explanation. If you said, "Oh, we are very in tune with our true values, and we don't feel that would be right," okay, you know what? I think you're dumb. I think there's ways around that. Hire more employees, better working conditions, better communication with your fan base. There's definitely ways to justify it, but. As long as you just gave us an excuse, but I don't even get it. They're just like, yep, you're content with just four packs annually that give you a total of maybe 20 animals a year.
Well, we know too that
the same $40 that you spent on the base game.
We know that Elite Dangerous. We know that Elite Dangerous is their baby.
Yes,
and it just seems like from the top. These other games kind of take a back seat. But
I don't know. I feel like I have no experience at all. I don't have a business degree. But I kind of want, once Corona's over, well, actually, I'm fully vaxxed now. I'm good. I'm just going to fly to the UK, attend a meeting and be like, hi. And then I just draw a straight arrow upward with a money sign at the end. And I'll go, you want to make money, right? Give me 5 employees. I could triple your profit revenue of Planet Zoo in a month.
Lion Rush, give me a team.
Literally, if they gave me one other person, because I could make the animals too myself, I already do. I can do whatever your research is that you need. I can make a Malayan taper with my eyes closed.
Well, I've told Drew and Jonty for years, I'm like, let me be your community, like your social manager for like 2 weeks, and we will be rolling in likes and retweets and engagement and creator discovery. It is just so like robotic and AI like with as far as they're pushing their games and showcasing their creators and doing the same people over and over again. And it's like, just let me do that for a couple weeks. Just let me focus on that.
We're in a chat right now where people are saying, Cerberus, I'd spend ridiculous money for this game. Jamie says, please take my money, Frontier. This is my point. Your fans are begging you to give you money. And instead, what they're doing lately is they're giving people like Leaf and I money or subscribing to me because I'm doing your work for free.
Yeah, and look at Linda said.
You know what? We're gonna actually donate to these people.
And look what Linda said with Sims 4. You can't play. You can't jump into Sims 4 and have everything for less than $1,100 right now.
But you can have everything in Planet Zoo for on sale less than $60. So. Yeah, talk about the money you're missing out on. It's just...
And, speaking of, Sims 4, too, Basic brought this up with the kits, and Linda brought this up with, the price point.
They have modding, too.
Yeah, they have modding, too. They support modding. They openly support modding.
And how bad EA is hurting for money.
Oh, yeah. They're the titans of the industry. You'd think, Frontier would want to take, a few points from them. Even, the kits that are coming out. They look sick. They're these quick little bite-sized things, cheaper than a coffee, and you get to add all these awesome items to your game.
Right, and that's basically what we're talking about. Those
isn't doing that.
Right, with those little animal, we could do that with the animal packs, or even expand upon that, little scenery packs to go along with these little animal packs,
or plastic swans was mentioning, give me a backstage pack, a little
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, no,
it's weird to me that they don't see the potential, and it's the same thing. I get confused with the talking about PK again. I'm like, hey, do you guys have any interest in making a zoo game? No, we don't want to be a profitable business.
Look, Jonty said same with City Skylines. No issues with modding and DLC sales for years.
Yeah,
it's just
it's never been correlated together.
I get you don't want to overwork your employee, and I get the whole, and that's why I say weekly packs. Because you know how they always do any modder can just shit out a mod in 40... I don't know, Shantae actually tweeted a thing out that said that, why can't you do the thing that I modded in 40 minutes?
And I was like...
There was some people in the comments that were poking some good holes in that. I'm like, okay, well, there's a hole. Maybe you all didn't the meme guy didn't think this one through.
Because at minimum, that's true if you're talking about we added a diving feature to Planet Zoo. Modders can't do that. Yeah, you're right, but I can make a Malayan taper. I have a 6-minute tutorial on how to do it. And everyone basically universally agrees they look identical, the mod and the official one. So
they do. Well, and nowadays, big props to modders. Actually, a few new ones. I can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference between a modded animal and a Frontier model a lot of times.
Oh, yeah, me neither anymore. It's just I couldn't tell if you would, one of us should do a video like that. You all should have me on and put a modded animal on the left and a Frontier animal on the right or whatever, and just have me try to decide what is what.
So funny.
No way I could do that. You guys are that on top of this.
I want to say we have officially broken 112 publicly released mods. Well, modded
we probably have about 150 unreleased, but
right,
yeah.
But publicly, we have doubled the amount in the last 3 months since we've gotten maybe only 2 months. since we've gotten new species, we've doubled the amount of animals in the game. Actually, tripled.
Awesome.
Technically.
Oh,
We've tripled the amount of animals
I was
in the
looking
game.
for the creator that I was thinking of in particular. Bongo Hardwood. They put out a few things and like all their stuff.
Yeah,
looks
Bongo!
just like Frontiers.
Yeah,
he's
very good.
he's an awesome creator. You know, who moved over to modding, and all the stuff that he's put out, just like in particular, has just been like, whoa, dude! Like just to see like what you can actually accomplish if you. And he always takes a lot of time to make his mods. So, but you know, it's just the whole point is modders have really kind of bridged that gap.
Jen is insane. Our Bubbly Wums is, you know, she's known on Nexus.
Oh, is that them? Okay, yeah.
Jen, you know, phenomenal with their stuff. NDP obviously has been always pushing the boundaries for mods. Marigi always been the Lynx was Marigi's, as well as the Kudu and stuff like that.
Oh, that Lynx was amazing. Yeah.
Yep. She's working on a serval right now. Looks just as good. Like, these are just really, really good looking animals. And so I don't want to hear Frontier has the quality. It's like, okay, cool. But if they have that quality, why aren't they noticing, hey, if people are turning again, and it's why I gave them a week, because even if you want to say Frontier is not 2 times, 4 times, 8 times, 16, 32 times better than even the best modder, I'm giving them a week. You should be able to crank out 1 animal, you know what I mean? Like, and again, if price tag is it might seem like, wow, you're releasing an animal for $3 or $5 or whatever. That's absurd. They're not worth that. I got the whole game for 40. But no, you know what? No one's gonna say that because people just kiss their ass anyway. So they're
right, man. I
cheap.
just spent $20 on like a freaking tracer pack on Call of Duty, like it was nothing, and it just makes the bullets light up when you shoot them. Like
again,
$20.
We got 8 animals for how much was the pack? $10.
12.
That means you're valuing your individual animals at 99 cents. Let's call it an even $2 though. You're gonna double your money of but individual animals for $2, I'd pay that. I'd be fine with that.
And I've seen people argue this before, where they're like, "Oh, well, Frontier doesn't really do these kind of packs." With their Elite Dangerous does this all the time, where they'll release like different lights for your cockpit, or like a bobblehead that's themed for so they already do all this stuff. And Esther was talking about this earlier, but they don't do it. They only like give a shit about Elite Dangerous, and like all their other games just really feel like bastard children, except like for when they're released. Right. That's right.
Jurassic World Evolutions had the Jeep pack, they had the Raptor pack where you could get the Raptor skins for 99 cents. Yeah, I don't. Okay, but let's stop you from doing a lemur pack, which is a bunch of lemur, skin clones. Essentially, they'd be new animals in quotes, but they'd be clones. For $5. What's wrong with that?
You know what else they could have done when they were hyping up for Planet Coaster was your avatar? Why didn't they sell a bunch of like avatar merchandise that you could like buy for your little dude and put new shirts on?
You can only get it
like
through
that
franchise.
Right, and it's like people would buy that stuff too. I just think like you've been like this whole point is
that
like
we have
I think
now.
they people would have bought that. I think they just really underestimate that people have a lot of money. Like
Oscar said elite
money.
Yeah, Oscar said Elite Dangerous is
like we have all this stimulus money, and a lot of people during quarantine have made Planet Zoo their life. Yeah, that's what they do. And like, so guess what? If you're offering any shred of content regularly, they're gonna buy it.
Look, Oscar said Elite Dangerous has probably made me spend upwards of $200 on bobbleheads.
Right. And string lights, exactly. And I've seen that, Linda, before, where the ED community is like, no one, the Frontier doesn't really care about Elite Dangerous. It's like, you have a first-class ticket to Cuckoo Town if you think that.
Right.
Like, dude, that is like their baby.
That is their darling game.
The CEO, made that game. That is the CEO's baby. Like, I don't even know if the CEO knows that Planet Zoo is out.
And like I've said forever, none of us can complain harder than the Jurassic World Evolution community. No way. I mean, none of us have had it that bad.
I mean, considering they've been cock teased all year. They got that one little tweet like, hey, there's news coming out, and then they're like, are we getting the sequel? Nothing.
No one has had it worse.
Nothing.
Yeah, no one has had it worse than the JW guys.
And because I do think we are going to get JWE announced probably I'm gonna say next month. I'll be honest, probably around E3 time. I know we aren't gonna have E3 officially, but around that time would be when the average game gets announced. So maybe June, July would be the announcement for that, and then marketing probably goes through fall. I'm thinking maybe early 2022 release, if not a holiday release this year. Would be my guess. Could be pushed till next year, depending if they want to have a coincidence.
Make sure you get Estan, get your request in early for JWE 2 before they run out of them all.
Oh, damn. You're
Don't
right.
want a repeat of JWE.
Gotta get a locksmith.
What if they don't?
Yeah.
What if they don't give me that?
Because I am curious on how much they're going to innovate JWE 2.
Nick, hey, Line Rider, did I
not at all?
Did I ever tell you that I didn't get a key for Jurassic World Evolution?
Dude, no way. Please tell.
You can tell us that story. What?
Yeah,
So what happened?
they never gave me a key to that.
That's amazing. That's the best story I've ever heard.
Oh, that's so weird. Keymailer, I'm checking right now. They sent me a key. No, they didn't.
Actually, they did send me like 3 keys when the Jurassic Park
You're
DLC
kidding me.
released or whatever. They gave me like 3 keys to give out to people.
And he wouldn't give one of them to me.
No, I said fuck you.
Well, that's what I found funny, because I remember I was testing the waters with the DLC for Planet Zoo, because I was like, okay, well, they're not responding to me. They're not saying anything. I guess I'll request a Southeast Asia key. And then, you guys all got access, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess they don't want to give it to me. That morning, it came out. Leaf and I got free codes, and I'm like, okay, well, if you're willing to give me this, I might as well request the other one. And they sent me another copy of the game, another copy of all the DLCs. Now, I don't need them, but I'm just kind of holding on to them in case I want to do giveaways or whatever.
Dude, you know what? I think I have... Oh my god, you guys talk real quick. I think I have 2 C keys I never gave out from Dahlia. If so, we'll give one out right now.
Yeah, because literally...
I really think I do have 2 of them that I never gave out. Let me search my
That's
box
awesome.
real quick.
You know what game I'm checking Keymailer daily for is Let's Build a Zoo,
Build
and
a
I've been
Zoo.
waiting
That
for
looks so cute.
perfect time to drop it. It looks like the best time waster game. It doesn't look like anything groundbreaking, but the PR for that game is amazing. Everything that they're doing.
Yeah,
just seems
it looks
doing
fun.
It right.
It just looks like a good time.
What I find funny, how we were talking earlier.
I do have them. Okay, we can do this.
They're mad about, oh my god, the poaching pack. I had someone on Leaf's comment section today say Nicholas Lion Killer.
Oh no, he came here.
Pack.
He came here. Cybers got rid of him. He's like, you guys are hanging out with killers.
Right, we support animal killing. That's what we're doing here. Yes.
What's funny is, like I said, I've kind of explained, oh no, I made it for educational purposes to warn against against poaching and the ivory trade and stuff of that nature. Meanwhile, Let's Build a Zoo is you can actually just make puppy mills that grind up alligators and turn them into purses, in the game as a feature. And I'm like, I mean, if they're getting away with it, and they're kind of advertising as a huge feature, inbreeding and genetic manipulation and stuff.
How dare you have fun?
Yeah, I kind of find it fun because I'm like, I respect it, because at the end of the day, I like options. I have no issue with, if you give me an option of some kind for anything, for any reason. Oh, wow. Because I remember early on when Planet Zoo was first announced, they were really dancing around the issue. I was like, can the animals even escape? Because they wouldn't answer it for some reason. I'm like, well, can you... What if I put a tiger with a lemur? Is that even allowed? Can I do that? And they were just dodging the question up until launch. I'm like, what? Just announce it. You clearly have it as a feature. It's like they were afraid to say that animals could escape. Oh God,
oh God, dude! I know you guys are tired of hearing about me go on about this, but one of my biggest intrigue games that's coming is Breakwaters. I'm just so into this little weird island building, survival, open world.
Yeah, it looks cool. It actually it reminded me a lot of the mechanics that was in the scrapped Moana edition of Disney Infinity.
Yeah, somebody commented that a couple days ago on my review. They're like, so this is basically a Moana game?
Yeah, like it looked very similar because the Moana gameplay and stuff that I saw for like that, I think they call it like a playset and stuff. It looked exactly like Breakwater, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like at least someone's getting this game out, like even if it's not that like Disney in the case of whatever. But I was like, yeah, it's kind of a cool mechanic. Like people like water and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's very simplistic as a mechanic, but it looks cool, and so I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
as long as games have like interesting looking mechanics, it already sells me. Like Breath of the Wild, I had so much fun with it because you could do so much with that.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking of like all the wonky stuff you can do with Breakwaters.
Well, exploration, yeah, being able to explore the ocean bottom and everything, and just all the tools they give you, it just looks like a fun time. It looks like a fun game.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing lately too. People have been asking me like, "Hey, you haven't been playing Planet Zoo, but I still see you're playing games. Why don't you play Planet Zoo?" And sometimes, and I see other people on Twitter mention this. Sometimes you're just not in a creative mood, but you still want to play games. Like I've been playing a funkload of like Railway Empire and Hearts of Iron 4 because I've been kind of in a strategy, kind of like management kind of mindset. And I think that's a really good thing for people to do is just to kind of step away.
Yeah, dude.
I think it was not to call you out, but I think it was Linda today mentioned that she's like, I've all this creative stuff I need to do. Whether it's she's like a really great writer, she's like, I have to write. I want to do some more Planet Zoo. Sometimes the best thing to do when you're in a creative rut is to not do anything creative whatsoever, and to just do a total 180 and think
dude, I've been streaming Call of Duty for these guys for like 2 weeks now. I just can't open Planet Zoo right now and get anything productive done. Like nothing. It's just it's not happening right now.
It's there, right? When you open up Planet Zoo or Planet Coaster or City Skylines, you look at it and you start spinning. I call it the spin take, where you just spin the camera around a few times. You're like, well, I got nothing.
Yeah, and then you back out of it. And then when you're in it, I could sit here for 5 or 6 hours.
Right. That was me yesterday. I jumped in. Actually, I think I literally messaged Savannah and Stan and I have a little group message, and I told them the same thing I'm saying now, where it's like, I've been playing games, but I've not really been in a creative mood. And after that, I jumped into Planet Zoo just to take a quick screenshot of what I've been doing. And I was like, well, I could, maybe put a tree there. And then next thing I knew, 4 hours later, I was like, oh, I got my mojo back. It happened. You just never know, when it's just going to kind of come and go. So
that's why I like modding in Planet Zoo, at least, because it's more analytical than anything. Because when you're doing all the coding for Nick, for Jen, for everyone, for Dr. Hyena, it's just no nonsense. You need to do everything exactly how it's supposed to be. But once you get that creative lick, usually I just do it in all of my test zoo, and then I'm like, you know what if I open Foxborough Zoo right now, and I just get stuck in there for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and it's just that creative juice it hits you.
Well, because that's what's funny is obviously working on the Africa Pack, a lot of people have probably noticed I haven't been uploading lately. There's a reason. I've been working on the Africa Pack. Anyone who's seen me on Discord, you can tell I'm definitely going in and out of Planet Zoo because it'll just Nicholas Lionrider is playing Planet Zoo. Nicholas Lionrider is playing Planet Zoo. Because I'm just testing everything for the pack, and so I've been working this whole time. Literally last week, Julie's like, Nick, stop. You're panicking about this pack because I was trying to get it out. Someone was asking about the release date. I was trying to shoot for my birthday, which is May 25th. That's not happening. It's probably sometime in June. I don't want to give an official date just yet until everything is in order. But that was just kind of the thing is when I work on modding or whatever, I'll just work and do that for an extended period of time. And then I'll usually, take a break if I get frustrated because the tools are very buggy and there's a lot of issues with them and stuff. Doing the stuff I'm doing, which is very weird, not your average mod type thing. And so it's frustrating, but I'll get it done. And then after a while, I just get that weird creative wave where I'll just be like, let's just add an animal to the Africa Pack. Why not? And I just throw it in. The other day I whipped up an animal. I was just like, why not? Just it'll be, a thing. and I enjoyed it because it was just a quick little
Do you guys feel?
I don't want to do it.
Do you guys feel the stigma to modding is leaving now, or are people still afraid, or how's that been received like over the last, say, month or two?
Been a roller coaster.
Yep, quite literally.
Piss. Yeah, I would say literally.
No, I feel like a lot of.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, from an outsider's perspective, because I know how it can be when you're always getting notifications for a comment on a video or a post or whatever. You can kind of get the tunnel vision, but like from my point of view on the outside, like on Reddit especially, you see like your guys' posts get like 1,000 upvotes or like 500 plus upvotes, and then there's maybe like a comment or two that's kind of like just honestly is being a jackass at that point. And so I think like overall, it seems like people are very receptive to it, and you maybe have like under 1% that are being boneheads.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, content creator wise, Rudy has totally embraced mods. Tried getting deleted into them. She blames, mods on crashing her game. I really don't think it is. I tried fixing it. I am like 99% sure it is not mods that are the
Is
issue.
she having the same bugs that other people are having with the trade
literally
center?
literally the exact same one you had.
Yeah, it's a frontier bug. It's not a mod bug because I don't have it anymore. Anyways.
Yeah, so I was like, but she made a whole post like denouncing mods again, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But Rudy is still on board, and I'm like, you know what? I'm fine with that. Like as long as more people warm up to it, because at the end of the day, whether people like it or not, you need the mods. Like if you want to still make a career out of Planet Zoo going forward, you need mods because.
Well, I was going to bring this up earlier, but it's like how people that don't do mods again. That's on you, Boo Boo. You do what you're going to do, but like how long can you play the game without mods? Well,
especially like I said, especially for content creators. Not even necessarily if you're a player of a game, you just go to a different game. That's whatever.
Sure.
But if you made your livelihood off of Planet Zoo, like some YouTubers out there, especially the big ones, you need that. You need, because I'm sorry, you just can't sustain yourself off of the same thing you've always been doing about, we're recreating another Southeast Asia habitat. Like,
right. There's only so many times you can put in the title underwater viewing and people are going to care. So
yeah, well, and especially with your competition now. So if you have, let's bring up 3 people that, off the top of my head, that if they made similar series, right? Let's say you take someone like the lady who would no longer want to make modded content, right? She makes an aquarium with African penguins from the new DLC. But then viewers are also noticing, well, Rudy's got dolphins, Remnant's got dolphins, the Leaf has dolphins, Drew has dolphins. I want to go to them. Like they have dolphins and orcas and stuff daily. You're building the same African penguin habitat 6-7 times. I seen African penguins on Nick's channel, months ago. Like, right. And that's kind of the thing, is that'll be a thing, I'm sure, as well, where at least, competition-wise, that'll be a thing. And especially, now again, for all, the 4 of us and stuff, we don't live off of YouTube revenue or anything. But if it is your career, you would, again, want to do the logical business decision and make money. So
I hope.
I hope again. I hope, especially if you're making this a career for your livelihood, for your family, it's like you gotta chase that, whatever it is. And I'm sorry, like Rudy talked to me. He was like, I have to weigh the benefits of early access to Planet Zoo DLC every 4 months or long-lasting Planet Zoo content. And it's. And the other thing is, I don't
understand that either, because
you get them with modding. Like
Drew and I are
mods since the beginning.
Yeah, we're testaments to that. Like we got all the South. They had us built. Drew and I were 2 of 8 people out of the entire gaming scene with us, and Frontier gave us the pack early and had us build custom enclosures for them to show off on a Frontier live stream.
Replacement mods.
So they really they don't care. They really don't care.
No, they don't.
And
Okay,
I will say my entire channel, like I only had 7 videos up until I started doing actual modded content that was base game like
right. Yeah.
fresh content only. And ever since I did modded videos, I like experienced
skyrocketing.
extremely lucky growth. And I thank every single one of you guys for promoting me along the way. But like even then, Frontier still gave me the Southeast Asia DLC key.
No, they
and that
don't
still really
care.
For
helped
me,
out.
again, I'm always the king of modding, but guess what? I got the Southeast Asia DLC free as well. Like, you know,
The,
like,
the only
And,
one of
this
us
kinda-
the only one of us that got screwed is when I didn't get that JWE key. Other than that, they've taken care of all of us.
Wait, you didn't get a JWE key?
dude, we should talk about that again.
Wait, tell us that story.
Do you
But-
want one?
Yeah, I did.
Like, do you need one?
No.
I have like 20 in the back.
Dude, I just got 3 out. In
Yeah,
my
I think
shit,
all of you
just hanging
did.
out.
But I would love to stay in chat. I have a pizza to pick up soon.
I know my dinner I just got the text message. So that's good timing on my end too.
Good
So
times.
yeah, if we want to wrap up, you know, we
Yeah.
Hell
definitely
yeah.
could.
Yeah, but
So
yeah,
cool.
thank
Alright.
thank you guys. We'll have to do this again, but not once every 8 months.
I know.
I know it's been a little bit, but we've been busy and stuff. But no, we'll do more updates, especially because again, modding. If y'all haven't been able to tell, just modding is really carrying this game or Planet Zoo right now, and y'all are just. I feel like you're really on the cusp still of or the start.
Yeah,
of a
this
lot of
is
stuff,
so
it's really-
early. Yeah, this is we're so early into what I think could be possible. And plus too, when we still think there are probably 2, what do we think? 3, maybe 3 DLCs still to go in Planet Zoo's life cycle. That's 3 more opportunities for you guys to get new, meshes and animations, and it'll be. What are you
Yeah,
thinking?
I want
Three?
the official. I want the official content. Like I want birds. I want a proper sea
Digging.
lion. I want. Yeah, I was like, I hope I feel like the meerkats aren't gonna have like real digging, but I wanted meerkats, so I'm glad we're getting them. And yeah, just do the stuff that we can't do, because I don't want to do your job for you. Trust me, I'm not paid to do it. So do it for yourself, for us, for the community.
This feels like a public service announcement.
Yeah, but
Stop that. Get some help. That's literally what I'm telling Frontier right now. Stop that. Do something
Get
else.
some help. Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, guys,
Cool.
don't forget to go subscribe to these nerds and give us one last smash of the like button before you leave. And I'm gonna go grab something to eat as well. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, Drew has a community showcase tomorrow, 12 p.m.
Yep.
So
Eastern, yep.
Yeah, stop by for that. Stop by if you want to watch me kill some people in Call of Duty. And we will.
Yeah. We have a new episode of Terra Nova going out tomorrow.
Terra Nova goes out on
gonna
Dan
raid the
Creates
Mastermind
channel.
Right after Drew's. Yep.
Yeah, that
We're
goes
gonna
on.
raid them.
Yeah, that goes on Dan Creates channel, I believe.
Oh yeah, another great creator, Dan Creates. Yep.
Yep.
So it'll be a fun bit of content for everyone tomorrow. So we'll have you covered.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me. We'll do it again.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys. And yes, I will. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.